Nope.
Nope, no fancy intros. We're just live. How's it
We're
going?
just live.
Here with Josh Rhodes and my broken down LMT again. I think it was broken on Tuesday when I brought it in here.
Probably was.
I heard you broke yours too.
Not the LMT.
Okay.
I completely
Dude, you
destroyed a Pro
destroyed
Mod
your
Quad
Renegade.
Buster.
Yeah, it was destroyed.
A lot of people were asking me, well, was that something that was unexpected? I was like, no, I did that on purpose. That was me. I tried a front flip and it did not work.
Yeah. Front flips can be catastrophic.
Yeah, I tried it off a different obstacle than I would normally try it off of, because I just thought, well, I'm here. It got high enough in the air, so I just hit the brakes and let it started to roll over. And when it did, it came down. And normally when it comes down on the right rear, it kind of lands like that, where you get all the truck slams down, it lands evenly, and you take off. Not that one. It landed and just completely ripped the rear end out of it.
Twisted right out. Looks like all the links, everything broke out. Yeah, that's about what it looked like in the picture.
Oh, yeah. It still looks like it.
Here's what mine looks like right now.
Yeah,
I will say I called this, though, when I put it on. I put it on Tuesday when I put the new knuckles on here.
Uh-huh.
They're still a little stiffer than this side. That side's nice and loose. This one's a little stiff. But I called it when I looked at the rod ends on it, and I said, man, I just break rod ends. And it literally just broke it straight out the middle. These things just broke right in half. So
that's the problem with the little dinky rod ends that a lot of us quad guys have ran for years. Is that's the big weak point. That's where the weak point is on the Freestyle RC trucks as well.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it compared to the plastic that's inside of here, how thick that is between here, and then on the new ones, it's just a thin, ball, and then it's got a whole spacer that then holds it the rest of the way in there. It's not even close to the amount of plastic that you get in this rod end. So I kind of wish that they would have taken maybe these link rod ends. Hopefully Losi starts selling these, like Traxxas sells their rod ends in there.
Yeah. So you don't have to buy the entire truck just to get rod ends.
Right, or you don't have to buy a whole link set, because you could put these onto anything and make it a little bit stronger. So even these links, if these links right here had those big rod ends on them, game changer.
Oh yeah,
but I've never had any links like these bottom ones here. In fact, I say it in the video that's uploading right now about all of this. The main thing was a test of these J Concepts tires, which I put on here. But so I'm running the Renegades on Tributes with the Freestyle RC adapters in order to get them on here, and it's super tight. Like, in fact,
yeah, I can attest to how tight it is.
Some pieces of plastic off of the inside of the wheels because there's a little bit of rubbage there. It's rubbing a little bit, and it's wearing a little groove in, which is fine by me.
I had the same kind of issue at the last Trigger King race with the Freestyle RC rod end. I actually sent you a photo of it just a little bit ago, where the top rod end was actually rubbing up against the inside of the Tribute wheel, and it weakened that rod end out enough to where it just popped it right off, basically. And I had no front steering, kind of like what you got right there. The front tires were doing this on the truck.
Yeah, this one doesn't look that rubbed. I'm looking at it now. I'm pulling it off. It doesn't look like it has any rub wear on it. It's still perfectly round. I did a flip, and I try and land him in a way to give me some pop to do a moonwalk, which I did with these tires, which was great. And it wasn't off my typical ramp. I just did it off of a different backflip ramp I had just to show you can do it off anything. But it landed like this off the backflip and down, and that was all it took.
That's all it takes. Those little thin rod ends like that will do that.
And it hit just like that. I mean, I've done it I've probably done it 1,000 times on the LMT and never had it pop with the stock ones. So if that's what is going to be the difference, like for these trucks that I'm going to do anything with, I don't plan to run these on them. Maybe a race truck, but not on my bash trucks. These are going back on.
Yeah. I'm debating on doing the same thing for as far as just our next race, throwing the stock link on there and running it like that. I mean, just by what you're doing right there, it looks pretty strong itself.
It flexes, but there's metal. You can see the metal rod inside here.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is the thickness of the plastic on the ends here are huge. It's like 3 times the size of that rod end. Like, here, let me pull that rod end up back off of here. We'll show it. What's up, guys? A bunch of people joining in here. How's it going, you guys?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Green Frog, Rick Crawford, Brandon Timblin, JMRCs.
Black Ops saying what's up.
Black Ops, what's going on? Let's see here. I just want to pull this off and see the thickness. So
just see the difference of the thickness.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is 1, 2. It's 3. It's the size of 3 of these rod ends here. 1, 2 in the middle, and then 3 on the top. That's the difference in that plastic piece to this little rod end. So there's just not the same amount of with something ripping on it, you know? That force. And it wasn't even that hard to hit. When you see it, I couldn't believe it when it happened. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This feels like old SMT days. Like everything
old gold clawed days for me.
Yeah, old days before January.
Yeah, exactly. Where did I put my marker?
Yeah, what's up, Black Ops? So we'll see. You guys, Trigger King just had a race with the LMTs. What was that like?
It was a learning curve, definitely. I tested my truck before I went out in the grass, running up and down, and it felt fine. The problem is grass has a little bit more grip than that slick dirt that we had out there. So I come around the first turn. I thought I made a really good first turn with my truck, and for some reason, the steering didn't come back completely center, and it's probably because I'm not used to that particular. So that truck comes out of the corner, and it goes off to the side, and my race was done pretty early. But watching everybody else run, I mean, I felt like they could have been extremely competitive just in stock form in our Pro Mod class as well, just by watching them run.
I'll say when we ran ours, the times were they were quite a bit faster for the LMT than they were the Pro Mod class.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because these things have so much more power than most of ours do that we've been running as stock, not even as stock, but as Pro Mod trucks.
Yeah.
You know, so when you needed that punch, it was there. And so when I was actually running my Pro Mods, I was like, "Where's the power, man?" And I realized I've been running these so much that I'm just used to having the 3S power of this.
Yeah, you're used to having that extra horsepower.
Oh my gosh! And do you guys have a 2S limit in your class or no?
Yeah, we have a 2S limit.
Yeah, that would change it a little bit. But we do 3S, and so like my Pro Mod is a 2S Pro C, and it was quite a bit slower than.
See, with the 2S, at least to our guys anyway, it feels more like a monster truck, and that's what we wanted it to appear as and compete as what you would see on Monster Jam.
Yeah.
And I think once our guys get everything dialed in, I think we're going to have a much better showing in racing than what we did.
Yeah.
The first time out. But I was super impressed with it. The main thing, and you guys can check this out on the Trigger King video, and this is something that Bob is going to get some crap for a very long time. Bob C. Chandler won our first event
off a loaner truck
in a Gravedigger.
Oh,
think about that one.
I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. That's funny.
He's gonna probably see this live video one of these days and just throw something at me. But I have the screenshot on my phone where it says Bob C. Chandler winner with Gravedigger on it. I might have sent that to the Anderson brothers.
That's funny. Bigfoot wins at a Gravedigger.
He didn't actually. You know what? I'd say he gave me the dirtiest look I think that I have ever gotten from just about anybody. Whenever he won the bracket, and I said, "What did it feel like to actually have some power?" Oh, that I heard a bunch of oohs on that one.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, I think I'm just going back to stock. Now, I will say I'm a little concerned about the amount of plastic coming off the inside of these wheels. I probably should shave them myself.
See, I haven't noticed the stock axles actually rubbing those. It's a tight fit, and I can see your little groove there.
It's grooved all the way around. Now the problem with this one is I put a washer on that, and that washer is what was actually catching. It was sticking off of that knuckle a little bit. What's going on, RC Propaganda?
I gotta use the drill just a second.
He's got his first race tomorrow, monster truck race. That's awesome.
Good luck with it.
What
one of the most fun experiences ever.
What's that?
Anybody's first race is one of your most fun experiences ever.
Yeah. I'm wondering who he runs with, because he's out in California. Are you doing SoCal?
Okay. So SoCal series now.
I almost seemed like I didn't know what I was talking about, and I remembered where he was with J Concepts, not J Concepts, JJ Customs, right by there.
I just sold a truck to somebody out there in the SoCal series, Levi Scones. He's got my old grandma truck. It's not going to be grandma, but it's the old grandma truck, the old retro.
I would leave it as grandma, or did you not give him the body?
I didn't give him the body. I didn't give him the wheels. That's going to go. I'm going to put that on a stock clod project.
You were being a turd.
That's actually going to go and run an MTRC because that's more of a realistic style-based series. And I thought, I've got this really cool race truck, but I kind of want a truck just to bash around over there that does the really bouncy stuff like Grandma did. Because the truck that I had set up for racing, it bounced, but it stayed straight as an arrow going down the track. I want something that's going to bounce all over the place that I've really got to drive in that little arena that we have.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool arena. I love it. Did you see what the brothers did with that cool Monster Jam track? They just had a YouTube video showing it. They had pictures up on the sand.
I was actually going to ask you about that, who those guys were. They had the whole Monster Jam style track laid out in their backyard.
Yeah.
I saw you commented on that video. I commented too, and I said that's cool. I'm jealous of it.
Yeah, we're gonna be reworking some stuff in the backyard here because that was the goal. And then I did it with the big one for the big trucks, and now I'm gonna do it with dual race lanes and all that. And Matt Stoltz just posted up that live RC drag system, timing system.
Yep.
Live time, I think it is.
I saw that. I tagged Doug Welker in that one because we were just talking about that not too long ago on our little show that we do on Pulling Trigger.
Yeah.
About how it would be cool to have a pro light.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Hey, Kevin Gibbs, what's up? Some of the races will be at A-Main Hobbies. That's NorCal, isn't it?
Yeah, NorCal series.
You're going up to the NorCal series? I thought that you'd do the SoCal one. What's everybody in the chat up to tonight? Oh, Propaganda says he's in NorCal. Okay. I thought he was in SoCal. My mind has just been blown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who he is anymore. Okay, so you're doing so anyway, those timing systems, I was like, man, that'd be super, super fun to have. But
they're expensive.
I The pricing
They were
was
very, very, very expensive.
$1,000 plus. So that's the starting is 1,000, and then it goes up to 1,500. And I was trying to think of what I could do to make it worth having. We already have a group here that has one, and I don't want to encroach on them with anything. So, like, other than drag racing, but honestly, drag racing can get pretty seedy pretty quick. So, I'm not sure that's something I want to do.
Yeah, I'm not too big of a drag racer, though that new Losi drag car looks really cool, and I kind of want one just to have it.
Well, I ordered one. I'm just saying, like, I like driving them around, but
I don't know about going to an actual race and doing that. Although I did see there was a video not too long ago. I want to say it was a J Concepts video. It might not have been, or no, it was. I think it was an A Main video where a guy won like 18 grand or something like that.
Yeah, that was in Vegas. Yeah,
that was nuts. But almost makes you want to go full-time RC drag race.
Yeah, there was just always issues with it when they'd run them here locally. They'd just have, that's when stuff would get stolen from cars, and they'd have to have all these rules about not betting and no weapons and all this crap. And I'm like, yeah, nah.
It sounds like street racing, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much 1/10 scale of the real thing. So I just don't want to be hosting it.
Oh, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to be hosting it either. I've seen some of those not necessarily legal street racing videos before where guys are just going at it and trying to avoid police and everything like that. It's nuts to think about. I can't imagine what the RC version of that is like.
Yeah, I just don't want to have to police it is the main thing. Like, I don't want to have to be the one that has to call somebody out.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. I hate doing that in actual RC monster trucks every now and then where you have to call somebody out, especially if it's somebody that has been aching to win a race and they get across the finish line first, but they missed a ramp. You're like, oh, I hate to do it to that guy, but
yeah,
it happens.
Yep. I've had to do it where it wasn't my race, but somebody else's race. I'm like, yeah, and they were letting him move on. I'm like, dude, he missed the ramp like completely. And like, hey, did he miss? And then when they finally asked the guys, like, yeah, I totally, I didn't get two wheels on or whatever. But you feel kind of like a tool for having to point it out, but it's like,
yeah, but at the same time, you're doing what needs to be done.
Yep. What's going on, Earl? Good morning in the house.
So don't let this go to Jason Saunders' head, but I'm doing his little mod with the.
Dude, I ordered some of them. The Mugen gasket.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, I'm doing that.
Did yours feel tight? Mine felt tight after he mentioned it.
No, I mean.
That's before or after?
This is after. That's almost effortless now. Before, I was sitting there.
There's a bit of a crunch to get them to move. Yeah, they feel like they're fighting each other. Yeah, I ordered a pack of 10 of them. I got to do them all. He didn't do his centers because they're pretty much locked anyway, but.
Yeah, I thought about trying to do the center, but nah, I just didn't feel like tearing the whole center apart. It's much easier to do the outside differentials. If I start noticing a difference, like maybe I want to try it one of these days and I want to do it, then I'll do it. But, I mean, that's so much easier.
Call it good. Yeah, this is really ground down. So this would have been the one on.
Mm-hmm.
See that end of it's really carved right there. Really carved.
Okay, so that looks like it did the same thing as my Freestyle RC Servo Saver did, running the tributes.
Yeah. So that's what's hitting over there. That's really getting worn in. That's not what broke, though. So I don't know that I should write it all off to... But see, they made these based on it running the regular one, and so that's only going to that center. It doesn't have that extra piece running to the axles, and that's where we're getting that grinding. The clearances are so little, and if there's any flex on this, it's totally hitting.
Uh-huh.
Like when I'm pushing on it, it's hitting. But it's because of our rules, right? That they have to be a certain width. He had to keep the clearances to keep the width because the LMT made their axles so wide.
Oh yeah, they made them very wide. But it helps with steering. And honestly, real monster truck axles are really wide too.
Yeah. Well, they're really wide because they bury their tires over them, right?
Yes.
It's not that wide technically the way that the LMT is set up because where it actually bolts on is further in. So these are actually wider than running these tires.
So long as it's not a Pontiac commercial from 1980 or 1990 or something like that, where it says wider is better, and you see the car stretch.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds ridiculous.
You don't know? Oh man, you don't remember the wider is better commercials from Pontiac?
No.
I used to love those.
I was in an advertisement.
Wider is better, and you'd see the car just stretch.
I was in an advertisement for my family was one of the old school. I think it was a Chrysler. Wagon. Mm-hmm. One of the early wagons, station wagons, is in front of my aunt's house. My uncle worked for him, and they had this whole thing about family, and get-togethers and whatever, in station wagons. And there's our whole family in the advertisements, the pictures. I was just a little pint-sized, probably less than a year-old baby in my mom's arms.
But hey, you were in a commercial.
I was. I really do like these tires on here. The Demolishers are much bigger when you look at them.
Yeah.
They're a lot taller.
The one thing I noticed, and this is the truck that's going to eventually be my freestyle Gravedigger truck that I'm working on right now. Trying to mount a different digger body on an LMT is a chore.
A different digger body?
A different style digger body. It's very much a chore. I need different body mounts so I can scoot the front end just a little bit so it'll actually get on the hood of the truck. Because any other body mount, it's off to the curve side that goes down, and it's a pain in the you-know-what. I had the same issue with the Digger 2 truck that I just built, where the body post is kind of in that curve of the hood, but I got it in just enough to where it actually works really well. I just scared the crap out of my dog grabbing it, but you can. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's kind of like right in the curve.
Those are really wide posts, though. With these, can't you mount them on the inside of the chassis so that it's...
You can, but I mounted them on the inside, and it was still right there on that curve of the body. I tried the Proline body, because I have a custom Proline body here. It's all painted and ready to go on a truck. I have the J Concepts Mortician. I have it on there. Tried it. Didn't really work that well.
Kevin, you're an idiot. Stardom came quick to Tony CC. He was less than 1 year old. Had an agent. Nah. That's funny stuff, Kevin. So RC Propaganda is saying this. I think this might be true. You might agree. He says, I think I need a race LMT and a freestyle one.
I mean, it just depends on if you want to spend the money for it. Honestly, I think an LMT could survive a race and a freestyle.
Better than most. Yeah.
Better than a clodbuster. I was always constantly worried that I would break something on the clods and not be able to freestyle, but I feel safer with an LMT out there on the track.
But I'll tell you what, I would want mine set up completely different.
Between freestyle and racing. Yeah. I can see that.
Because I like it. These ones have a whole lot of pop in them. The shocks and everything.
Yeah.
So I could see why you'd want to have both. Just different setups as far as diff as well. So you can do some of the tricks.
Like my spec class LMT right now has different diff setups.
The what?
My spec class LMT for Trigger King has a different setup in the differential than others. It's got a 30,000 weight oil in the front diff, and I left the 100,000 in the, or excuse me, I have the 100,000 in the front and the 30,000 in the rear because I want the front to pull.
Yeah.
Pull it out of a corner.
All right, so I fixed this truck already. That was too quick. I need to probably get the other one. I need to put the other axles on, or not the axles, the knuckles on. So it's funny because Losi calls them spindles, right?
Yeah.
So somebody was telling me that you couldn't buy knuckles for it. I'm like, yeah, you can. They're just called spindles. It's interesting trying to get all the verbiage down because everybody does something a little different.
Very true.
So I want to know, MTRC, I'm going to have them on the 13th on RC Conspiracies to talk about what they're doing there. What is it like? Because it looks absolutely amazing as a viewer.
It's incredibly fun to drive, I can tell you that.
Okay.
The guy that runs it is actually Colby Marshall, and I don't know if you've ever watched the Monster blog or seen any coverage over there, but Colby actually does the MT Unlimited series over on the Monster blog, and he puts all of that stuff together, travels back and forth to shows, and puts together these awesome highlight videos.
Colby, you said?
Colby Marshall, yes.
Okay.
Colby and Travis Sutton of Sutton Motorsports kind of got together and said, hey, it would be really cool if somebody would do a super realistic old school style monster truck show. And he started going around and asking people if we'd be interested in doing it. And of course, me being the retro fanatic that I am, I don't know if you've heard of my podcast, but I immediately
give everybody the name of it while you're here. Don't let that go by.
The Retro Monster Truck Review podcast.
There you go.
Basically, I cover all old school monster truck events from start to finish and give a rating at the end of the show. Go through the entire racing bracket and try to talk about a little bit about the time that's going on here as well. If you want an episode, I'll recommend an episode, Dallas 1990. If you want to go watch go listen to a good episode, that's probably my favorite one so far. The next couple episodes are going to be really good, though. I got some good guests coming on.
Okay. You can't tell us who they are. We gotta wait for it, I'm sure.
No, I can tell you. I don't care.
Oh yeah, you didn't tell me earlier.
I'll drop it right here. Next week's episode is Ryan Lacoste, and we're talking about a monster truck event held in the Chicago Amphitheater way back in the day in 1989, the first points weekend of TNT. And then the following week is going to be Cody Saucier, and we're talking Memphis 1991 Penda Racing.
Oh, you're not going to talk about his new monster truck team he's starting? That was hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious. I still got to go get on Tyler Meniga about that because he commented, dude, congratulations. And it was like, he totally got Tyler.
So many people dropped for that, man. It was brilliant.
Oh, he did it. He made it sound so serious.
I immediately got it, partly because my kids were pranking me all day, so I couldn't forget that it was April Fool's.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, Cody, he got a lot of people in the industry.
He did.
He got a lot of them.
His post today was basically an apology and saying I'm not that silly to drop that much money on it, which is a little dig on a bunch of other people at the same time. But yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
I've looked into the cost of doing it myself, and
a guy who really knows a lot about that right now is Kevin Talbot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to fund it and get it going, and he's pricing all the motors, all that. It's craziness. Mm-hmm. I've been pricing buying one, and nah.
You got to think too. It's not just buying the truck; it's also buying the hauler to be able to haul it.
Yep, hauler.
You've got a CDL license to be able to drive the hauler,
or somebody that does have one and having a crew. Yeah. There's a lot of expense that goes into it.
There's a reason there's a lot of one-man or no-man crews out there where it's just a driver because it gets so expensive to the point where you can't really do anything about it. Devin Jones and Barbarian comes to mind as one of the guys that's just a privateer out there, but he goes to the shows himself and does everything himself.
Yeah. Propaganda says he's got one. So West Coast, I'm in good hands.
There you go.
Now I was looking at it. I'm like, nah, no thanks.
Well, there's a reason that I went 10 scale. We'll put it that way.
Well, and like, so I looked at, there's so many things. If you get in with one of the big companies or you do Feld or something, like you get to run them during the races, but that's it. Like I want to just have fun, man. Like I'm at that point now where I'm like, I just want stuff I can tool around in. I'd at this point probably rather have like a Polaris Razor or something I can go out and just jump and just have fun with.
Yeah.
Have a good time a lot and not have to worry about all that. And so I was like, forget it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this place about a mile down the road from me is going to get its stuff together and open up an off-road mudding park, like literally around the corner from me.
That would be cool.
I have to do what I did today, which was drive my Jeep over the tree stumps in the front yard. The boys and I got in and we went over some of the stuff in the front. Yeah, Kevin Gibson, get me a modded Razor. Yeah, I'd do a four-seater so my family can all go out. But we did that last year. We went to, was it last year? Shoot, maybe it was 2 years ago. 40th birthday, so 2 years ago. Dang, time flies. And my wife got me a pass at a place up in West Virginia border called Pocahontas Trail System with the Hatfield and McCoy trails. There's like hundreds of miles of off-road trails. You literally go there and camp and you rent one. You literally drive from the campground right onto the trails and you just go for all day. It's amazing.
That sounds like it'd be cool.
And well, the best part is you hand it over at the end of the day. You don't have to do any of the work. Although you do have to clean it. It has to be pretty cleaned out before you bring it back. And we had it so muddy that it took like an hour to clean it down before we returned it. But yeah, no, it's wicked fun. But the Andersons are doing an Easter thing tomorrow. I really want to go.
What's that? The Andersons are?
Yeah, Digger's Dungeon. There's a whole Easter egg thing that they do for kids and all that.
Yeah.
I just want to go because they're going to have the ride truck open again, and it's just going to be tons of people. It's just fun.
Yeah, those ride truck drivers are going to make some money out there doing that.
Dude, the ride truck drivers gave me a ride last time. It was sketchy. It was super sketch. We'd just been off-roading twice, like all up in Michigan and Indiana. And we were in that mud and it was sliding and you felt the whole thing getting sucked in. I'm like, man, this ain't good. But those big tires are something else.
Yeah, I really like the ride trucks. I don't know if you've ever been on one called Sergeant Smash before, but that truck puts the one at the dungeon to shame.
Oh, really?
Truck, if you ever see a video of that, the suspension on that, the way they have it set up, the truck leans and does this as it's driving. It's sketchy, it's scary, but it's cool at the same time.
Yeah.
First time I rode in that truck was at the Indianapolis Jamboree. I got in, and the lady next to me grabbed the seatbelt, and when I went to go grab it, she'd actually grabbed mine and overstretched it over herself. So I sat there that entire time like this in that seat with no seatbelt on and thought I was going to fall on my face a couple of times.
They were going pretty crazy, and I went up to the Samson thing that they did. That J Concepts and all them were there for whatever anniversary they were celebrating. Those ride trucks were getting it, man. They were pedal down. They were giving those people a ride, man.
You get what you pay for. There's a reason that they charge as much as they do sometimes for those things. They want to give you the ride of a lifetime.
Yeah.
They do not disappoint.
All these people in the chat are talking about side-by-sides, Earl RC propaganda, and they're talking about how expensive they are or whatever. And all I'm thinking is, if we didn't buy RC cars, we probably could have bought 2 of those things by now.
Probably. As many trucks as I have sitting in here, I could probably sell them all and get at least 2.
Yeah.
But I got nowhere to ride them.
I'm not a good salesman.
A really small yard.
I'm a terrible salesman, so I wouldn't get my money to buy 2 of them. If I hadn't bought them, I could have bought 2. But I don't sell things very well. I can sell my wife on the need for something, but the turnaround to sell it to make money, I'm always like, it's got all these issues. And like if I were to sell my Bari build right now, like, well, I probably would make half of what I bought it for.
Probably.
Most people would sell.
That's the nature of the hobby, though.
Yeah.
Just realized I did that right next to the microphone. Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, if I hadn't bought that tractor too for the backyard. But speaking of, okay, so I pulled up that thing. That's what that noise was when you were talking the same thing. I'm going to throw it up here. I'm going to share screen. Where's that window? Oh, crap, hold on. I need to make a new window. All right, there we go. So if you guys haven't seen this, because you're not paying attention, because I posted this before. It's this one. Nope, this one. Right here.
Yep, that's the one I watched the other day. I watched that all the way through. I thought that was a really cool little track they did.
Course is so amazing that
I was jealous. I wanted to get out there. I was watching those guys, and I'm like, man, I know I could nail that track.
I'm gonna stretch it out a little longer, which doesn't help for freestyle, but it'll make it a little more race fun. Because it's a little more cornering, but yeah. So I'm gonna do this. Basically, I won't do an exact copy, but where you have the two inner pieces where if you do want to race, you have the start blocks are the same, and I'm gonna have these outer jumps as like the corners.
Yeah. That track reminds me a lot of a St. Louis track.
Yeah.
It's just the wide open floor. You could also probably say New Orleans Superdome style track.
Yeah. RC Propaganda says I'll have a track like that when I get a house with a yard. So I have a yard. I have dirt. I just have to move it around and build that. Make my jump smaller and do that. And I can move the dirt now. I got no problem moving dirt. But you still have to finesse it with a shovel. Like you can have a tractor to move the dirt, but to do that kind of thing, you still have to shovel that stuff.
Oh yeah, you still got to put a lot of work, handwork in, just
handwork and footwork in order to get the I stamp everything with my foot. That's just how I grew up doing it with BMX. We do it all with our foot with our vans. Make a really great flat surface. But I want to do that. I'm hoping that they're going to let me do something similar to that for the Diggers World Finals. So,
yeah, I'm still debating on if I'm going to make that one. I really want to go. I really do.
But yeah, so I was talking with some people yesterday, and if they don't have enough dirt, I might sponsor a load of dirt or something to try and have a little bit more dirt stuff on there.
See, now you're making me really want to go.
Yeah.
What's that? More dirt? I'm there.
Yeah, I'm all about the dirt, and I like the dirt there. People complain about it. That's what I got in my backyard. I like that dirt. So,
honestly, that dirt was so. I mean, I drove it on it when it was untreated and all that last year when I was out there, and I love driving on it. I mean, I thought I had a ton of grip out there around the corners, even without it being watered and prepped and put in. I can imagine when they do that, I'll probably have some traction rollovers.
Yeah, it depends when you go. Like if you get enough people out there running for the day, it gets loose really quick. You probably it's probably between a lot of people running. There might have been a few rains, whatever, making it. But I think it's pretty grippy too. But when we raced last time, it was not grippy at all. So
sliding out an awful lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we had at the last Trigger King race. Like the day before, and I showed up the day before and stayed at John Arnold's house, which is where it was at, JB Scale Graphics Raceway.
Yeah.
And we got there, and man, the track was perfect. John had done such a good job. It was all laid in. If we'd have raced that day, man, we would have had a amazing track to race on. We all went out to dinner that night, and when we went out to dinner, there was a storm that came through, and just it ruined. Not necessarily ruined the track, but it pretty much killed as far as the top layer goes. It was done. And we went out the next day, and we had to wait a little while before we'd actually race. We had to wait for the sun to kind of dry it just a little bit more, and then when we finally could walk on it, we went out there, and man, that track was just completely ruined from what it was the day before. If we'd have raced, like I said, the day before, man, that would have been fun. That dirt was all packed in real nice, and then when we raced the next day, it was just the loose stuff was all over the top of it. If you slipped up into the marbles, you were done.
I like it when it's a little loose.
It was way more than a little loose at our last race.
Oh yeah,
it was bad.
Last race we did, it was hard packed clay with a fine thin amount of dirt on top, and so it was just slick. It's like being on ice because you had that hard surface with that really loose, tough right on the top layer.
Yeah,
and you just slid everywhere. So the LMTs, man, they had the hardest time getting any traction.
Propaganda's heading out.
Propaganda's into bed. He sounds like he's got a pretty good dirt hookup, though.
Yeah, hey, bring some of that to Illinois and then take some to North Carolina.
Yeah. What's in Illinois?
Our racetrack for Trigger King.
Oh, really? I thought you guys were in...
Well, it's in Waterloo, Illinois now. It used to be we would race in Missouri. The old track, like the old place that we used to race at was actually Doug Welker's dad's property, and he just had a shop on this property. So behind it was where he had the dirt track that we would race on, the real tight dirt track that we had. And then there was something to do with the property lines were apparently misjudged when they built that place. So a piece of his dad's parking lot was actually a part of the building next door. So we kind of lost that area because of that property line dispute. And then after that, we went and raced at Smack Track a couple of times. We ran at Bigfoot once outside. We ran Bigfoot inside Bigfoot shop. And then John actually bought a brand new piece of property, and it's just this giant area that we could race on. And that's where we've been racing at, is basically John Arnold's house.
Okay. What was it when you guys were doing in the vinyl shop?
That was Vinyl Images. We ran there in the winter. Okay. That was Vinyl Images and Design. They do a lot of vinyl work in the St. Louis area. They do stuff for the Cardinals. They do stuff for Bigfoot, etc.
Yeah. And then you guys have been doing something that's indoors as well, but it's a much shorter ceiling place. What was that? That was the... It wasn't as brightly lit.
I know it was are you talking about like last winter?
Yeah.
That was the Childress RC stuff that we were doing. That was Jason and Mike Childress.
Okay, so that wasn't Trigger King.
No, it wasn't Trigger King.
Trigger
King did show up. A couple of guys from Trigger King did film the last race that they were at, and I couldn't make it. It was kind of funny. The one race that I couldn't make was the one they actually filmed.
Okay.
All the other ones they didn't film. J Concepts filmed the one that they went to over there, and I'm really glad they did, because I beat Jason twice in a straight line. Just so if Jason's watching this, remember I beat you straight line racing.
That's fighting words right there.
I know. I've had him on my podcast a couple of times too. Jason's a riot to talk to, especially about old school monster trucks. He knows his stuff.
Oh, knowledgeable, man. He definitely knows his stuff.
Oh yeah. Especially old school monster trucks. I thought it was kind of funny. I invited him on the show to do TNT Louisville 1990. Of course, that's the Bigfoot 4 comeback. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where 4 kind of stumbles off the line a little bit. Carolina Crusher gets out to this big lead, and then Andy Brash just chases him down on this figure 8 track, and eventually gets him by about this much across the finish line.
I haven't seen that. That sounds amazing.
An incredible race. Army Armstrong sells it too as one of the best monster truck races he's ever seen in the interview. I'll have to send you like the video to it, because man, that is probably to this day my favorite monster truck race, period. I mean, Brass comes back, just amazing. But I invited Jason on for that podcast, and I think I impressed him just a little bit with the format that I had, because we spent over an hour talking about this on the show. And then he actually messages me a couple of weeks later, and he says, "Hey, I want to talk about this show." And we ended up doing Pontiac 89, which I've always dubbed as Jim Cramer's Revenge, because the year before he loses in round 1 to a truck called Hot Stuff, which is a Jeep monster truck.
Yep.
So he comes back the next year, and he's looking to beat Jeff Boehner, who is now behind the wheel of High Voltage, which is just a yellow version of Hot Stuff. It's another Jeep.
Right.
And the Revenge show was it was something to behold to watch, because Jim Kramer pitching Bigfoot 6 into a corner with that left front and right front tire popping up, depending on what lane he was in, was astonishing to watch for back in the day, seeing the suspension give the way that it did.
I have to go back and watch. We went to some of the Silverdome shows, so I'm curious. I have to go back.
What years did you go? Or do you remember?
I was a kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to go just back and watch and see if anything looked familiar. But yeah, I mean, I went to several monster truck shows at the Silverdome. Even probably 2000 something. Mm-hmm. Some of the last shows they did there before they closed down.
I went to the next to last show they did at the Silverdome. I actually thought it was going to be the last. That's why I made the trip up there to go to it. They had the last Monster Jam there. I missed that, but then new owners came in, and they promoted an event called Domination at the Dome, and that was Bigfoot's return to the Dome. I couldn't miss that.
Yeah, the last time I went to was a Monster Jam there.
Yeah, the last Monster Jam there was an insane show. I think they had 20 trucks, and that was the one where Dennis has that famous cartwheel almost right over the top of Lindsay Wink. Mm-hmm. And I was kicking myself on missing that one.
That's a haul for you, though, to get there.
Oh, yeah. It was a haul for me, but I'm no stranger to long drives. Yeah. I used to love getting on the road and doing that. That road trip that I made to North Carolina was the longest one that I ever did, but it's also one of the most rewarding because I got to see all the sights along the way. That drive through West Virginia and you see all those mountains and everything, man.
Yeah.
It was one of the things I wished I could have done was pull off into one of those little spots where they've got the little photo opportunities. Yeah. Every time I would drive past one, that would always be full. So I couldn't pull in there to really take a photo because there was no room to park the car.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a few of those, the overlooks.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a little spoiled by it, being here now. But
yeah,
I remember the first time, because I'm from Detroit area, so pretty flat. Like we had Mount Holly, all that kind of. I mean, it's like tiny. It's basically like they dug out the bottom and put it on the top, and that was your ski hill. But coming down through here now, it's like wow. First time I came through the mountains was blown away. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, we've got to drive through those stupid things.
I don't know. I mean, if I lived around that area, I would be astonished every day driving to work or something like that. Yeah. It's a beautiful sight. It's better than around here where all I've got is, oh, hey, there's another cornfield. Oh, look at that, another cornfield.
Yeah.
That's a bean field over there, but there's some corn on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't wear that much on you. I mean, my main thing is usually when I'm driving through now, I have the RV, and all I'm thinking about are the brakes. Mm-hmm. Like, you can smell the brake pads, like, just burning up if you're not driving it right. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I've been second. Just like engine braking down it.
Yeah.
Trying not to put any more on the brakes.
Throw the Jake brake on.
Shoot. But, yeah. That thing right now, man, it's such a mess. Because it's an old one, and we got it cheap. That's why we have it. But, like, we ripped out all the carpets. It was just such a mess. And we're trying to put down, like, vinyl tiles and all that. And that's literally what I did today. So my legs are so sore from kneeling down and crouching and trying to cut these tiles out to fit in. But everything, when they put it in, man, they just put it in when it's flat. Like, they tile everything. So the whole floor is tiled. Then they set everything on it. And then they carpet the areas they want to carpet over the tile. It's just like this craziness. And so we're trying to cut stuff off. You're pulling carpet. Then you realize you got to cut all this tile out that's underneath the carpet. That was never there. Like from day one, they carpeted the thing. And you're just like, what the heck were they doing? But it's probably easier than cutting around stuff. Just lay while it's flat, just tile it all and then just carpet over it. And man, it's been a nightmare. But hopefully, and then you find like spots where it's rotten.
Yeah.
Cutting out boards and putting new ones in.
Oh yeah, that's always the fun part. I'm dealing with that right now in my the back door area of my house.
Yeah.
Last year, the year before that, we had a real bad rain and it leaked in there, and now there's a spot in the back where it's kind of dipping down just a little bit.
Yep. Got to cut it out and put in new stuff.
Yep. I'll get to it. It'll be one of those projects that I do about the time it's about ready to fall through or something.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be doing any of what I'd have left it carpet with what my wife's like. She went in there, tore it all out. Now I got to make it look all right.
Hey, Kevin Hitmansky joined. Yeah, they are pretty nice trucks. I know a guy that actually helped design them, Kevin.
Yes. Kevin, I'm going back to stock steering links on here.
Yep, he's given up on the aftermarket stuff already.
These ones work. Well, not the axles. These are nice. These ones are nice. But I broke the steering link the first day I ran it. So it's just like the plastics are not big enough. Like these links on here are the best things that I've seen on any truck.
Solid axle truck.
They're so big.
Big, beefy, and perfect.
Yep. I actually broke one of the rod ends. After all of the 5 months of abuse, that son of a digger I have, I call it the POSUD. POS son of a digger. Because it's so trashed at this point after 5 months of just straight abuse. But I finally broke one of them. That's it. After just straight up abusing it.
Yeah.
I had one. You know how many I have on my other trucks that I freestyle? Every run.
Every run.
Ends when I break a rod end.
We can compare here. I've not broken any of these. You took 5 months to break them. This is one freestyle.
Yeah, that's pretty messed.
Yeah, that's one freestyle. That's the two upper links.
Axles are okay.
What's that?
Your axles are okay though.
The axles are fine.
That's a
better linkage. That's a clodbuster right there.
Well, so that's a good thing because if you're running the ladder frames, those things don't give it all, and you just break an axle.
Yeah, I'll just end up breaking the axle tube, or break the tube right off basically.
Kevin Gibbs saying you called it, didn't expect it so quickly. So as I put on that steering link, I literally was saying, I'm probably going to regret putting this on here. Like I bought apparently 3 of them on accident.
Oh,
I only meant to buy one, and then the trio knuckles, and then I realized I need another set of knuckles. No, wait, I didn't want a second set of knuckles. I wanted to get a second link, steering link, and then his mount. Anyway, somehow I ended up ordering 3 of the steering links and 2 sets of trio knuckles. So I must have double ordered one of them on the website somehow, and then ordered just the steering link. I don't know what happened, but somehow I ended up getting 2 sets of trio knuckles and 3 steering links. I'm like, what did I do? But
one of those late night things where you probably were cross-eyed when you ordered it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. That happens quite a bit.
There was a night here a little while back. My dog ripped off her collar the other day, and she pulled she's got one of those name tags on that kind of slides around the collar, and she pulled the name tag off of it. So it was just the piece that was sliding around the collar, but there was no metal name tag left on there. So I ordered her a new one, and as I was ordering her a new one, I was kind of dozing off and falling asleep. So for about a week while I was waiting on that thing, I was sitting there thinking, God, I hope I didn't accidentally put a letter in there where it wasn't supposed to be.
I just misspelled the name.
Yeah, accidentally misspelled her name. Oh, Lord. It's not like she would care, but I would.
Yeah, or put a wrong phone number.
Put the wrong phone number or the wrong address on the dang collar.
That's funny.
Thankfully, I didn't though. I got it. I got it. I opened it up yesterday, and I was like, okay, cool. One of those things where I probably should have double checked before I hit enter, but still.
Yeah. I tell you, Kevin's in here. I run my truck, other than the axles, so stock, from motors to haven't touched anything. Running the stock sway bars, shocks. This one has stock steering. Everyone asks, what should I get? I'm like, I just run it till it breaks, man. I run the stock steering servo, servo saver. I did trade out the axles just because I knew what I was going to do with it. And honestly, YouTube, people want to see the different options. So
yeah,
I ordered the Vidavon ones when they just happened to say, hey, we have these ones available. Email us or send us a message. So I did, and they had some. I'm like, all right, I'll take them. But that's why. Otherwise, I'd run them stock. Like my race one, complete bone stock. The only thing I've added to it is the freestyle braces and the DS Designs
the drive shaft loops.
The shaft loops just for looks, because it looks for
looks. That's a cool little thing to add too. I've been thinking about pulling trigger on a couple of sets of those. It's one thing about the LMT. When I pulled it out of the box, I'm a guy that loves to tinker on my stuff.
Yeah,
I pulled it out of the box and I'm like, I don't really have to do very much here. I mean, the only thing I did was put the freestyle braces on, like you did, and that was it. I put a freestyle servo saver on one truck just to see what it would do. And now that I know that it's going to rub the inside of the rim on that truck, then I'm just going to go back to the stock steering setup on it and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, if you need to run a better servo, they do make a 25 tooth of that saver if you want.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to eventually do. I've got a CCxRC servo on there right now. It's just an old one that I had laying around. I would like to throw one of my really cool Tekin ones on there just to see what it would do. Because I got a
Tekin 25 tooth.
Yeah, I got a CCxRC is the 25, and so is the Tekin.
Okay.
So what I really would like to do is see what a horn would do on one of these trucks. But I'm still very skeptical of throwing my really expensive servos on there to try a horn out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do if I'm going to put that, because I could totally see how that would rub on here with these. I don't know that I can run these tributes with the freestyle savers. So I've been running my freestyle savers, but I've only been running these huge open demolishers.
And they work really well with that one. I can just tell by looking at the inside of the tire. The problem is with the tributes. Honestly, I think J Concepts would be probably a little smarter thing to do would be to make a little bit bigger rim, just a slightly bigger rim and a slightly bigger tire, and you've got a perfect LMT tire.
Yeah.
And then market the other stuff is like your S&T version, and then here's your. It's just an idea I'm throwing out there. I mean, I think
it could even work on the S&T if you just enlarge it a little bit. It wouldn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they're not coming out with a 17 millimeter adapter yet.
Yeah, that's kind of the one thing that I saw whenever the truck first come out. I thought that'd be the first thing people do is come out with a 17 millimeter adapter, and people are coming out with the 12 millimeter adapters. And I think that actually is going to end up hurting the rim itself eventually, because these axles are designed for a 17 millimeter. Somebody's going to jump and land really hard on the side with one of these trucks, and it's going to end up popping the whole middle of the rim out.
There's so much power coming through these things with that setup that they have, and the axles can take it. So, yeah, I know that JER has a 17 millimeter. He calls them flower pots because of the shape of it, and it's going to be a 17. But I was shocked that I kept waiting for somebody, but Losi's. What they did was they just made because they can't go and make the flower pot, right? Losi's not going to do for the J Concept setup.
Yeah, they're not going to try and they're not going to help out the other company. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. So I just had glue go everywhere.
That's not good. Don't glue your hands together.
Sitting there talking. As long as it's not my hair, I'm okay. I don't want what happened to that woman happening.
Yeah, hey, it's not Gorilla Glue though, so you're okay.
Right. So, but yeah, I finally got one of those little tips that go on here to get in there.
Yeah, I got a couple of those too from J Concepts.
Now I put way too much glue in everything.
Yeah, that was me with Shugu. I always put too much Shugu, but Shugu is extremely easy to pull. Like if you ever want to use the tire or use the rim again, you can really just pull it off with your hands and pull the tire off. That's part of the reason I used it for so many years, but since I've gotten lucky enough to get the J Concept sponsorship, tires come to me a little cheaper now, so I can glue them properly.
There you go. Tires and wheels.
Also, very fortunate to have a Horizon Hobby sponsorship now. I want to thank Spectrum very much while I have the opportunity to do so for everything they've done for me. I'm really enjoying running those radios. It's been a while since I've ran Spectrum, and I'm actually very impressed with how they are now versus how they were when I was running them years ago.
That's all I run. I got 3 of the ruggeds. I don't have the pros or anything like that, but
I got the DX5R Pro, and I really like that radio. I got to try one out when I worked at Horizon, and when I tried it out, I was like, man, I really want to get this hooked up on the other trucks, but I knew I couldn't keep the radio.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm stuck. Like, I've got so many receivers now. You know how you kind of feel bound when when you're bound to that many radios, but yeah. RC Sparks is at his house helping with his trails.
Oh, really?
That's our buddy the Tank. Somebody just said that the Tank did a short showing RC Sparks at his house helping with the trails. That's amazing. That's craziness. That's a Thursday night. We go live with Tank RC.
Oh, nice.
And
I thought he was done. Last I heard, he was done with everything.
Well, his Facebook has been blowing up.
Oh, really?
He was done with YouTube. He was taking a break, but he did not take a break from RC, and he has been very active. What the heck?
Yeah, my phone started to go nuts too. I just took it off, turned it down.
That's my phone. I don't usually have it on because I don't usually have it on beep because it just all day long just beeps.
Yeah, I hear you. Mine does the same thing.
So people like, hey, what's your phone number so I can text you? I'm like, you don't want to do that. I currently have 144 unread text messages. So that is not the way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, texting is not my cup of tea either. Facebook Messenger is about all the messaging that I do. People can get a hold of me on Instagram every now and then too.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at those because I just happen to be in them for other stuff. But too many things going on with email and all the different ways that people want you to be able to get in touch with them. It's crazy how many ways there are nowadays.
Oh yeah.
So
I had an ex that would get mad at me every now and then because I wouldn't message her on Snapchat, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. Explain that to me. Tell me what it is, and maybe I'll download it.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have the new TikTok.
I do have a TikTok, but I don't really post on it much. If I post anything on it, it's my dog.
I don't even go to it. Like, I've seen what's on there. I'm not interested in lip syncing and half the other stuff on there.
There's some funny stuff on there. I have to admit that I enjoy watching. I more or less get on there because the guys that do the comedy bits and stuff I think's hilarious.
Yeah.
But other than that, I leave it alone.
I just honestly don't have time. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. When you're creating stuff, you don't have a whole lot of time to consume stuff.
Yeah, very true.
Like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and when I'm not creating stuff, I'm responding to people.
Or you're looking at funny videos that I send you about axle braking that really didn't happen.
That was really funny, man. You had a good crack going on there on that inner center brace.
Yeah, that whole, man, it was just so terrible. No, I'm kidding. It was the smallest crack that I think I've ever had, but I was like, I can't resist. I have to make this little video.
You got to. Now I'm going to try and find this short from. Oh, yeah, here it is.
When you have people working on the trail and once they're done, they sit down and they go zen. After they've done some nice work on the trails and built bridges, they just zen out.
Yeah, that's Aaron from RC Sparks at his house. That's crazy. Huh. And Aaron was on doing his own live working on RCs. That's crazy. on his YouTube, or on his not YouTube, on his Facebook channel. That's where he's been crazy busy and active. He's almost like more engaged with the community because of just going to YouTube, Facebook, where YouTube he'd do his own thing and he'd post it, comment a few. But now he's like asking questions, trying to engage people. It's interesting flip of things.
Flip of how he used to do his content.
Yeah, he's totally done like a 180 on it. It's pretty cool, but all that stuff, man. I was at USTE. I had zero internet, and like all of that drama was going down. And I'm like, I can't even. I literally couldn't get the posts to load. Even if it's just text on Facebook, my internet was so crappy. I told my wife, I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta find internet. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I drove to like this Wendy's and sat in their parking lot trying to get close enough that I could have their Wi-Fi. We're on Verizon now, which is supposed to be the biggest network. We're in the middle of Central Florida.
And you can't get anything.
I can't get on the stinking internet. Like John Travolta has an airport there. You can't get on the stinking internet on your phone. Like, it's like, what the heck? So, yeah. I end up getting on, and I'm screenshotting. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm screenshotting this stuff. I'm going to go back and read it. There's too much. I'm not going to sit here and go through this whole thing. I'm not going to, like, hour-long videos are being posted by people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
I
was at one of the Childress races whenever that started to go on, and I'm like, wait, what? Who quit? What's going on? And I started reading up on everything, and I'm like, man, this is the next level right here with all these guys.
So yeah, so I just like, I couldn't keep up with it all, and I don't know what's going on, if he's moving or what. I know he's selling his RC collection on eBay. I'm sure he's been trying to move. I'd want to get away from some of that snow if I could.
Oh yeah.
But I honestly don't. I didn't keep up with it all. I don't know exactly all that went down. I happened to be luckily in kind of like this safe space dead zone that I didn't intend to be in, that kind of kept me away from all of it. So I didn't post anything stupid like on either side of it,
Yeah. And it's best not to take sides on anything like that anyway. It was just more or less just kind of watch it and see what's going on.
And I'm all for the hobby and it as a thing, not about the personality, like people. I'll go into group, people's live streams are like, I can't believe you came here. I'm like, dude, I'm in this just like you because I love the hobby. Like, there ain't nothing special. Like, just dudes that enjoy the hobby, just like you. Like, nothing more. Some people.
Yeah, I get some of the same treatment when I hop into somebody's lives.
Yeah,
and honestly, like I said, I'm just there because you're doing something I'm interested in seeing.
Yep.
You're working on something. You're doing a part of the hobby that interests me, and I want to be there.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be about anything more than that.
Exactly. Now, here's the fun part. This LMT has all of these stripped out on either side. So trying to get this differential out is a pain in the you-know-what.
Oh, you got to squeeze it in now because it's a little bit thicker.
What's that?
You have to squeeze that in, he said. Jason, and his video, the second one. It's going to be...
No. These are all stripped out.
Oh, those screws?
Yeah, so, I mean, they were stripped from factory for me. I tried taking this apart a while ago, and they were all stripped out. So basically what I've done is taken everything that would hold this side of the axle on, pulled it up, pulled it out, and hopefully it's going to pop right out for me, which it should.
I was told to get these. Dubro 2.5 millimeter.
Yeah, I heard that too. I think Matt Stoltz had posted something about those.
Maybe that's where, but I bought a bunch of them, and I remember that I had the aluminum axles.
There we go. I got it. Now the fun part.
Will the low C LMT Gravedigger body fit the SMT 10?
Not well.
It'll look really big.
We'll put it to you this way here. That's about your SMT 10 size Gravedigger body right here. It's
Well,
Concepts Mortician. That's your Mortician body. The Gravedigger for the LMT, which I have right behind me, just a size comparison.
All right, put the other one up. Put them on top of each other. That's probably easier. It's quite a bit.
Swallows it.
It's like 2 inches or 3 inches shorter. Now, it could work if you had the bigger tires. If you're running the stock 2.2s, it'll look out of place.
It'd look very out of place. You'd be looking like you had transport tires on the truck.
It almost looks too big on the LMT, but the LMT we've shown is literally the same width and length as the SMT10.
Yeah.
So it would look very similar, but the cage is much smaller underneath it.
Mm-hmm. It would there were guys that used to, and I'll just use this as an example. There were guys that used to put the 8 scale Parma Gravedigger body on their 10 scale trucks, and that's what that reminds me of. It's an 8 scale body that you're throwing on a 10 scale truck.
Yeah.
And it's way out of proportion at that point. Move that back.
Kevin Gibbs is saying, based on Aaron, he's a long way from Alberta if he's at Tank's place. But people have been speculating that he's moved and all that. I'm really curious what's going on. There's other stuff going on. He's a smart man. He's a businessman. Like he knows what he's doing. And he makes cool stuff.
He does. He makes some really cool stuff. I really loved his Raminator that he did.
Yes.
That was a beautiful truck.
I have these over here, which I'm still just showing you. Okay.
Yeah. I can take over the show if you want me to.
Here you go. My tractor trailer here is all because of his loading wars.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that and I'm like, dude, I want to do some of that stuff. And so I got a trailer in a bed.
Yeah.
You can put stuff on. And right now it's just holding my Max D body and a camera. A vintage Browning camera, Kodak.
That is a cool trailer now that I really look at it.
It's just a flat bed.
Yeah, it's a flat bed, but it's cool.
Yeah. I stained it with like it's like a T kind of a stain. It's not, that's the effect you get with you when you do a T stain. It kind of grays the wood so it looks aged.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Varathane is what I use, and it instantly turns like, because it was like pine, it turns it gray, so it looks like it's been out in the weather. It's like a weathered look.
Yeah, I mean that's what you kind of want though for that kind of a trailer.
Totally.
Make it look like it's been used kind of trailer. It's cool.
Yeah, it's just a black. So I have one that's a box truck. It's the Happy Toys one from the.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous that you have that one. By the way, I know whenever Matt was selling that stuff, I was like, man, I'd love to have that because I'm a big fan of that movie and I love the soundtrack.
So part of me wants to rewrap it though as a Gravedigger truck, hauler truck. So
that would be kind of cool. You could take that to the USTE.
Yep.
That would be something really cool to watch on their semi trails.
Yep. And put in like some of the scale trucks in it.
Yeah. I forget the guy's name, but there was a guy in Canada that has a couple of YouTube videos out there. He's got an enclosed Bigfoot trailer that he's got his Bigfoot Clodbuster in. And he would literally back it. Like he would drive the trailer. He would park it. He would hit a button on his radio. The door would come down for the back part of it. And then he would back the Bigfoot truck out of the trailer. Wish it was a tired down version of Bigfoot. And then when you looked in the trailer, he had all the tires in the back, just like they would the real truck. That's just, and it was an amazing feat. And I always wanted to see that live, like in person, but never have been able to figure out who the guy was.
Well, and you know that I've got that Astrovan looking tank over there.
Yeah.
I think I showed you that I've been trying to make into the
Wild Tracks?
The Wild Tracks Gravedigger styles. And I actually contacted the guy that paints the Gravedigger trucks because Adam told me to reach out to him. And he didn't want to do it because it was too small and it wouldn't be detailed enough for him to put his name on. Yeah. So I'm still trying to get a graphics for it. But Yeah, if I could get some of that more Gravedigger stuff done, like get that trailer done, it'd be pretty wicked to have.
Barry would probably be the good guy to go to as far as getting those graphics done.
So he told me somebody to reach out to about getting a wrap done, so I need to do that still.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to do. I know he should be off for a little bit with Monster Jam.
Yeah, and I need to reach out to him too, because I want to get a zombie body.
Yeah, I've been debating and kicking around the idea of getting an Air Force afterburner body for one of these LMTs. Because I've got the flag still sitting here. I have an Air Force body sitting here, but it's the Pro Line body. It's a real thin one.
Yeah.
So it's not going to look very good on an LMT with it being so thin.
Oni thinks that MTs with their transport tires on are hilarious.
You want to hear a little insider thing? The reason that you don't see many Monster Jam trucks tired down like that and photos of them like that with the transport tires on is because they're out of character, according to some people out there.
They don't want them to be seen.
They don't want people seeing that because it's not in character yet.
Yeah,
like it hasn't had its dress rehearsal.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
I think it is too. I think it's something that they should focus on TV because there are still people out there that how do you
no one's getting swapped out, man? That's the cool thing is that they show one way and they get
Hey, careful now. I'm fat, but I got big feet. So
there you go. So you got big feet. You're fine. Me too. And I get a big head too. Look at all this. I'm able to get like 2 notches on my hat. That's all I can get.
No notch.
There you go. Well, I can't wear those hats because
I love these hats.
My head's too big for them. I can't stretch them out.
I got a Spectrum hat that I was gonna wear at the last race, but when I put it on, like it literally looked like this on my head because it wouldn't come down past my ears because it's got the thing that you have on the back there. And no matter how far I adjusted it, it still looked like it was being pushed off of my head by what hair I have up there.
So my Spectrum hat's one of those one-size-fits-all hats, and I can't do it.
Well,
this J Concept is actually not sponsored, but this J Concepts hat is one of my favorites that I own. It's very well worn at this point. It's kind of rounding, but
I've got a ton of Gravedigger hats in there that I wear. I've got this one, which is another YouTube channel that I watch called Hunt the Front. It's a dirt car racing team out of Florida. They're really fun to watch. Really enjoy watching them, so that's why I bought it. I support them. But I can only wear these one-size-fits-all hats because they come down like in the corner of my ear right here, and they actually fit on my head. Any other hat just kind of sits on top of my head.
Yeah. Well, when you wear it as a flat brim like I do too, it makes it so you can wear it. It can't even. If I were to do this, I could probably get another notch or two.
Mm-hmm.
But you flat brim it, it's real bad. Green Frog one size fits all is a lie.
Very true.
So I went to get my hair cut, and I feel bad. I just go to Great Clips, Mohawk Warrior, Bryce Kenny.
I was gonna say, did Bryce cut your hair? Because if he did,
no. But like, so they're all like, "What kind of cut do you want?" Whatever. I'm like, it honestly doesn't matter because I'm gonna wear a hat like 20 hours a day. I mean,
every time I go to like
pretty much
around me, the only thing around here is it's called a Smart Style hair salon. You go in there, what are we doing today? And I said, you're going to take a number 3 guard and you're going to go through my hair. We're just going to do a buzz? Yes, that's all you're doing. I'm the easiest haircut you're going to have all day long.
Yeah. So so she's like, it's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, just do what the last guy had, and I'll put a hat on after you're done.
Exactly. Actually, you might be careful with that because the next guy, the guy before you might have got pink highlights.
Oh no, I watched the guy before me, so I was like, see what he had. You're pretty set up for it. But
get it done.
I need to go get my other truck. I should be working on something. Let me grab it.
Okay, I can do enough work. I can do enough work for both of us.
I've been doing good about getting a parts bin going.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing bad about getting a parts bin container. Just have a box.
My parts bin container is right next to me. It's my toolbox. It's where I keep everything that I travel with to races. I need to get something here in the house just for stuff to have laying around here at the house other than that thing. I need to get rid. I got a dresser right over here in the corner of this hobby room that's chock full of old stuff. I just need to get rid of the dresser itself and actually put in a shelf over there so I can stick my trucks up on it. Kind of like the shelf that you got back there, something like that, where I could just stick my trucks up there and get them off the floor and get them out from underneath the table I've got back here. You can see back behind me, there's a couple of trucks sitting on a table back there.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Which one's on the table there?
Back there, I got Bad Company Ice and Wildfoot.
I was just saying, I saw Bad Company for sure, and I thought it was Wildfoot based on the colors.
Then down below it, I've got my original Losi Baja Ray still sitting under there, and I've got Excalibur, my second sport mod this year. And then kind of over off to the side, I've got another Bad Company, which is the normal looking Bad Company. Up there is Ice, and down on the floor is the normal Bad Company. And I got my 2 retro trucks right here next to me because I figured I might put them up here on camera at one point and show them off. I did pull Digger 2 up just a little bit ago and showed it off. And
right now is a good time to show them off.
I got Digger 7 sitting right here as I knocked my drill over. That was smart.
Is that considered retro?
No, that's more sport mod.
Okay.
This truck I just built, J Concepts regulator Gravedigger number 2.
I just saw that. You showed that. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is my pride and joy right here. I love this truck. I mean,
who painted the flames on the front?
The flames on the front were done by Easy Customs in Florida. I don't think he's taking orders right now, but if you want to follow Easy Customs Airbrush and Graphics on Facebook, he does an amazing job. He did this exactly like Digger number 2. If you've ever seen the truck, this is dead on perfect. My little thing that I added right here, these are actually from the LMT, these headlights. The cap is anyway. The 12 millimeter bolt LED I get from Super Bright LEDs, I just took the cap from an LMT, like that LMT body that I had over here. Comes with the light kit. I took and cut the little screw parts off of it and glued it very lightly to the front of those 12 millimeter bolt LEDs so it's got the red.
And so those are red LEDs, so they glow even more red?
And they glow red, yeah.
Because those light buckets actually kind of look pinkish to me on that LMT. Oh, yeah, that's very red.
The Super Bright LEDs, if I had that hooked up to a 9-volt like I normally do, I can't fit a 9-volt in this regulator chassis. There's just nothing. But I normally have these hooked up to a 9-volt. And when that 9-volt is at full power and you plug these things in, oh my goodness, how bright are those lights?
Yeah.
But I got this hooked up into the speed controller just for this truck.
So who did he paint the front of it too, the grill and all that?
He did the grill, he did the flames, he did the middle piece. All of that is paint.
And then he did black on the rest of it.
Yeah, he did black on the rest of it. And then the graphics, these were actually done by a guy in Canada by the name of John Brown. He did these for a game called Rig Rods, but he had a really high quality PSD file of them. And I'm like, hey, can I borrow that? I got that. I got those from him, and I sent them to my graphics guy, John Arnold, with JB Scale Graphics. He can't print, before anybody asks, he can't print these for anybody else. He gave these to me. That's the only reason that I have these. I'm going to work on getting the graphics. He can't sell these to me because if he did, he could be in a lot of trouble. So these were given to me.
So those were given to you by nobody.
Yes, exactly.
JB Scale Graphics is your friend, but he didn't necessarily print them for you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll do that. And then, of course, I think everybody knows this one. This is my first regulator, Bigfoot number 4. I've got it's kind of funny. I texted Jason Rona at the beginning of the last event because he wanted photos from Trigger King that he could put on the J Concepts Instagram story, I think it was. And I sent him photos of everything, and I sent him this one. He goes, oh, John Pyatt got the call because it's got the racer stripes on it, and this is the version that Pyatt drove. But I got several different bodies for this. I've got the normal Bigfoot blue. I've got this body. I'm trying to get a snakebite body in the works, too, because I wanted, like, when I built this truck, in the original incarnation as well, I wanted it to have like all incarnations of 4.
Yeah.
So
I have one of yours now.
You had the Bigfoot 8.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually had that body done. I was going to run that in sport mod, and then like 5 or 6 other guys started coming out running the racer stripe bodies and sport mods, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to be part of the crowd.
Yeah.
So I just ended up having that body laying off to the side for the longest time. And then you messaged me, and now it's no longer mine.
Yeah, I was so thankful when I was just trying to find out where to get stickers, and you're like, "Well, I got one."
Yeah, I have one just sitting here.
Even better. Let's do that.
It had holes, like I said, it had holes drilled on it because it was on a Chaos chassis, but
didn't bother me.
It works for you. And that truck came out really nice too.
Riff Raps, you're never too old for a flat bill. The flat bill just makes you look younger. That's why I do it. I'm trying to fake it. I'm like Reefs RC. We're both younger than we pretend to be. No, we're both older than we pretend to be. I don't know. I don't speak for Reefs RC. Although I love their servos more than any other servos.
I was going to say, I was just about ready to ask you, what do you think of their servos? Because I was thinking about trying out one.
Man, I'm so just trying not to spend the money on that Reef Raw ADS that they have out there right now, the autism one that supports autism. It's it's for a good cause too, but it's a little bit more expensive, and I honestly have way too many of their Reef Raw servos. I have 2 of them sitting on my that Bigfoot right now, the ZRP one. Yeah. But people say it's more expensive than. I know you buy expensive servos, so it's not lost on you. Yeah. But people are like, oh, it's too expensive for what you get, and I'm like, it's the perfect amount for what I get. Like, if I were to get different ones, I don't get exactly what I want. Like, I get the wrong amount of speed and the wrong amount of power. Like, it's kind of a great in between mix of those things that I want. So when I get the Savox one, it's don't get
me wrong, Savox is a great servo. They annoy me because of how loud they buzz.
They're noisy.
Yeah, they're very, very noisy servos, and that annoys me to no end. Yeah, I like my quiet servos that I got.
I started with them, and then I moved over to ProTech, but ProTech's expensive too.
Yes, ProTech.
And then I found the Reef one, and I tried their crawler one because nobody else really had crawler ones. I'm like, okay, I like this. And then I saw the raw one, and I read up on the speed of it, and I'm like, well, that's pretty good. It's got quite a bit of power, and it's adjustable. I can actually like tweak it with USB and actually program it. But then I plugged it in. I'm like, why would you ever program this? It's like the perfect amount of power. So
I felt the same way with the Tekin T300 when I got it. I was like, why? I mean, I spent the money to get the programming kit and everything with it, but I didn't need it.
Yeah.
At least I didn't think I did.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to tell people to spend that much on a servo. But when people tell me it's expensive, I'm like, it's not as expensive as what I was getting before. Like, I was spending $140, $150 on servos. This is $130 at my local hobby shop. And that's the other thing. Like, so now there's like these new ones like that are Demond or whatever. Some other ones that come from China or whatever. But I can't get it at my local hobby shop. So I'm in the need for one at that moment, and I can just walk in, and the Reef one is cheaper than the ProTech option. So it's not like I'm buying the most expensive one out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, again, the speed is perfect, and at a certain point, I don't notice the power. Like, okay, you can keep increasing your numbers all you want, but like, do I need that much? I don't. Like, you're just now increasing it for the sake of increasing the number, so you can say you're faster and more powerful than somebody else. But I don't even notice it at a certain point because it's already so fast. But anyway, and so the other thing is I've never broken one.
Yeah, and that's a big thing with me. I did break one, but it was my fault.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've not broken a Tekin servo.
Well, I've bashed mine, and I don't know if I should credit our Freestyle RC or who, because all of mine pretty much at this point so far have been on monster trucks, and every one of them has a Freestyle RC servo saver.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should congratulate Freestyle RC or Reefs, but I've never stripped a gear in one or anything in my bashers. So it's like, people can try their stuff. This works for me. I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep getting it.
Yeah.
And I drove all the way an hour plus to our further hobby shop just to get one because I needed one for that other truck that I have.
Yeah. I wish I had a local hobby shop I could drive to. The closest one I had used to be named Falcon Hobby over in Springfield, Illinois, and that was over an hour and 10-minute drive for me.
Yeah.
Now the closest one's over an hour and 15, 20 minutes from me over in St. Charles. The good thing is it's on the way to the MTRC races.
Right.
So if I ever need anything, I can swing into Mark Twain's and go there.
Yeah. Reef actually reached out to me at one point from Reef's RC, said he really liked my channel and stuff, and we chatted, and so like I could get a discount through him, but honestly, I just like buying them at my local hobby shop. If they're gonna stock Reefs, I'll just go there and buy them. Like, the discount's great, but by the time I do shipping and all that, it's, I'd rather support my local shop. So
yeah, exactly. Support your local hobby shop. Like I said, if I had one, I would. My local one, actually, to me, now that I think of it, the closest one to me is actually Horizon. So really? I can buy straight from them and have it shipped to me.
Yeah. And so if I don't go through my local hobby shop, typically I'll eBay or I'll do
eBay is my friend.
Or I'll do Horizon. If I order online, it's usually through Horizon. They've got a pretty good store now, and you get those credits like you do. Plus, I feel like there's like, I'm ordering from the people that sell it, so if it comes in, I'll be one of the early ones to get it. But, yeah, it's been really good. Their shipping's really great to where I'm at, so no complaints there.
Yeah, the shipping for me is phenomenal. I get it within a day or two of ordering it now.
Yeah. I just know they do FedEx, and FedEx has been great. Oh, crap. Yeah. What is this? I just put all this back on. It's not the new, not the new knuckle.
Don't you love it when you do that?
I just put
It's like me when I was building the axles for that Digger 2 truck. I got 3/4 of the way done with one of them, and then I looked down and I didn't have one of the gears in the gearbox.
That's too funny. What?
One of those things. Oh, it's just me now. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I do not know where Tony went. Where did I put that? I have another insert for this, and I don't know where I put it. Oh, well. I'll do it with the drill. There he is. I can't hear you.
I hit this little button on my mouse.
Oh, there it is. Okay, now I hear you.
Apparently, it's back button, so it actually went back on my browser. It's like
I was talking to you, and then all of a sudden you weren't there, and I'm like, hello?
Yeah. I just went to grab this and click on somebody's comment. It was Earl's. It said about his tattoo. I grabbed it, so it's Earl's fault.
Dang it, Earl.
He said, Brandon, my tattoos of my big block Ford looks like a small block now. All of that just because I wanted to click on that. So anyway, I don't have like a servo sponsor. I run the big Spectrums on my scale. Whatever. It's like I just found that those work for me. So, you know,
Split scale Spectrums are a really nice servo too.
Yeah, when they're small, like you can get they're short. I have one of the expensive Spectrum servos too. I think one of my monster trucks. But yeah, now the knuckles off.
There you go.
Idiot move on my part. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Like people get bent up about certain things, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to cause anything. I'm just telling you, like, this is what I like. People have been asking where to get it. It's available. I posted a link because you can't find them anywhere. Not trying to start anything. Like, it's just
so happens to be what you would like to use and works well for you.
The other thing is those Freestyle RC servo savers. They're hard to get, man.
Yeah, they are. I know a buddy of mine has been trying to get one forever. I tagged him in your post that you made. And commented back and he says, dang, they're sold out already. And Jason was like, yeah, or excuse me, Josh was like, yeah, 50 units gone, just like that.
Yeah, so I chatted with him like, dude, like I just posted, like I waited for a bit because I've had several people for so long asking about it. And so I sent them all a message and I said, you know, I'm going to wait like an hour and then I'll post this like public. And then I did. And a lot of people still got it because of the public post, but it's tough, man. And every time I see it, like I just happened to be on because people were complaining that they couldn't get it. Yeah. And because they complained on a post that they couldn't get it, I just went and looked and boom, there they were. I'm like, score. So I told them in the response to their comment, I'm like, dude, they're in stock right now. And several of them got them. And then I went and posted to 3 other people that have been really dying to get them. And I'm like, dude, they're in right now. If you can be quick, you might get one.
Exactly.
And I said, I'm going to post this here in just a second. But they got it. So. Not trying to play favorites or anything, but.
You're not playing favorites. You're just letting people know what's out there.
Yeah. And then I told Josh, I'm like, dude, I just posted it. And I've been telling people about these on my channel for so long. I'm like, be prepared for it to blow up. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I posted them at 2 a.m. I don't expect them to last long. I'm like, well, I just posted it. They're going to be gone soon. And they were gone by noon. But I really do swear by it.
That's why, I mean, they're a product that's in demand.
Well, I found another company that has them. Something like it. It's not the exact same. But there was somebody else I found that had them. I don't remember the name of it. I'd have to look it up on my history. Somebody actually told me about it. They were asking about it. Is this as good? And I said, I don't know. Like, all I know is that the freestyle ones work for me. I don't know if the springs they use are the right strength, any of that. Like, there's so much that goes into it. It's not as simple as you think, you know, like.
It's not just putting a spring on and seeing if it's going to work.
Proline tried it, the big hit or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
My buddy got it because he could
get it. Expensive.
Yeah, and it didn't work well.
Yeah, it didn't work at all.
Yep. There's something about these. They're magic, man.
That's a good song, Magic Man.
Yeah. Speaking of them, here's mine right here. Hey, it's great because it's literally a direct fit because the servo straight up and down goes all the way to this knuckle right here. Perfect. You don't have to delete anything here. You can go back to your original. It's so good. I just tried it one day and I messaged Josh. I'm like, because I had the truck and I knew that he had one. Like he'd been able to have his hands on one at some point. I'm like, dude, your servo saver, and I think they were announced at that point, so I could talk about it. And I was like, your servo saver is a perfect fit. Like, make a bunch of them because they're a perfect fit and they're going to sell. I'm going to talk about it, but I don't get any kickback for it. But I think he's a good dude. Like, so here's the thing, and people don't understand it. Like, small businesses don't operate like Amazon.
Exactly.
You know, when you want custom, it doesn't come quick. Guess what? I've got a, oh crap. This was, I thought this was my Vibratite. So I squeezed it with the squeeze that I use for my Vibratite.
Yeah, that didn't work.
And I just made a huge blue puddle on my desk of thread lock.
At least you know that one spot, though, that's the giant blue puddle, never going to move again.
Nope. I will never be able to remove this hex off of this truck, so I won't be able to do freestyle braces on it. Nah, it'll come off, but what a mess. Anyway, it's yeah. It's one of those things, like, sorry, dude, like, you had a bad experience. Hey, like, mine wasn't the smoothest to start with them either. I don't reach out to them like some people reach out to companies all the time. They ask stuff. I don't. Like, if they have it in stock, I just order it like everybody else.
Exactly.
Like insider trading information. Josh says isn't like, hey, I've got some in stock. You should order some. None of that happens. I have to find it just like everybody else. Because guess what? Josh doesn't have time to email people like me and say, hey, my stuff's in.
Exactly.
While you can. They're busy dudes. He's running his own hobby shop and racetrack. And they're racing like crazy, oval, monster trucks, off-road. They're so busy that, like, it's a small thing on top of what they're doing that's even bigger than the Freestyle RC monster truck parts, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I get it. It's annoying that you can't just have instant access to people. Like, even I give people probably too much instant access. Like, they message me, and I'm usually pretty quick to message back, but that doesn't happen everywhere. You know, like, you can't operate in that way for a long capacity of time. And when you do that's the reason the parts are taking so long. Guess what? You're wondering why they can't make more, because they're answering all of your questions about.
Exactly. He's spending too much time on the computer and not enough time on the lathe.
Yep.
To try to get it done.
So these people cannot.
I had to calm a couple of people down that I know through Monster Jam. They're like, you told me to go to Freestyle RC to get this. Well, it's taking them forever to ship it. And I was like, yeah, because it's custom. It's going to take them a little while to get it done. Trust me, it's well worth the wait when you get it.
So I had Trevor Adamo, yeah, okay. So I ordered his Warpath. Yeah. Well, I'm in line just like anybody else. Like, by the time I put my order in after he'd done it, he told me, hey, I have some in stock. Well, by the time I ordered, guess what? They weren't in stock. So now I'm on the waiting list like everybody else for them to get all the parts in to do it. And it's been a couple weeks, you know, like.
Yeah, but again,
when you
get Trevor's stuff, though, it's well worth it.
But it's about it being custom, you know, like they have a website, yes, but guess what? It's all custom made. So, and you know, oh, they don't answer my questions. They don't whatever. Well, same with me. They don't answer my questions sometimes. Sometimes I'll message their website. Sometimes I'll message personally.
I don't let that bother me with those guys that I know are doing custom stuff. If I send them a question and they can't get back to me, or they don't know the answer and they leave me unread, I don't really care at that point, because I know that they are working to try and get product out.
Yep. That's what it is. So you just have to know what it is. It's a different ball game. It's not mass produced. I mean, shoot, even Losi can't keep their stuff in stock and get it to you right when you want it.
Exactly.
And they've got, you know, huge warehouses, and they've got manufacturers in China making stuff for them. And
I can vouch they do have a huge warehouse.
What?
I can vouch they do have a huge warehouse.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. Like, the demand is just really high for what people want right now.
Yeah. And honestly, RC is booming right now. It has been for the last year. Like, really booming.
John Reifensnyder says he's got a huge race tomorrow. So yeah, I turned him on to. I think John, you're the one that I told about Freestyle RC having a place up by where you are, if I'm remembering people and names correctly. And he went up there and talked with Josh. Josh is a cool dude. Josh would do anything for you if he could. And that's probably almost to a detriment. And it's probably sometimes what my wife says part of my detriment is, like, you want to tell everybody yes. Like, oh, yeah, we can make that happen. Well, guess what? You start telling everybody yes and you run out of time and people start being like, oh, he can't get it done. But it's not. It's just because you want to help everybody out. And, you know, he's trying his best, I think. And he's also in a shifting market, right?
Exactly.
Because everything that he made before was pre-LMT, you know, and I hate to say it that way, but I think a lot of monster truck stuff is going to be like pre-LMT. After LMT, things changed, and here's what solid axle monster trucks look like.
There's BLMT and there's ALMT.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. DNA, ALMT. This is what the scene looked like.
Exactly. Because, and honestly, one of these days, people are going to be looking at stock Pro Mod Clodbuster and be like, "Wow, look at that thing!" Compared to what they get nowadays through Horizon with the LMT. It's a completely different platform.
Yeah, ALMT. That's hilarious.
Yeah. ALMT and BLMT.
BLMT before the LMT.
Sounds like a sandwich, actually. BLMT.
Like before Christ, after Christ. If you guys,
exactly.
You get it.
If you're not getting the joke, there you go.
There it is. But yeah, that's funny because really, I mean, that's how I see the market. Like so I have a rant at the end of my video today. I'll just say that it's a good one. It's a long one.
Is it the one that I caused?
You partially caused it. Front of mind because of you, because Josh had sent me a message just prior to complaining about his axle breaking, which didn't actually break.
No, it was a funny little thing I did. There was a little chip.
He cracked this little piece right there.
A little chip.
They all break. They chip, and so he sent one. What is this axle? This one's brand new.
Oh, there you go. Hey, send that to me. No, I'm kidding.
It's got a little flex in it. This is the old one. But yeah, they flex a little and they crack there, even if it's not ready to break. Anyway, so you sent that to me, and so I was already in a bit, just laughing and thinking about it. And I don't know if you've ever done videos or live videos or any videos, you kind of speak like stream of consciousness.
Yeah,
stuff pops in there that you don't know where it came from, and then afterward you're like, what? And so sometimes it's bad enough that you're just like, I'm just going to do that again and see what happens next time.
Yeah.
So John Reifensnyder's thing, yeah, he is the one. But yeah, so I went into this whole thing about how limited my time is, all this stuff, people complaining about axle. So I went into how this is the toughest truck I've ever driven. That's a solid axle monster truck. And I'm like, and this steering link proves it. Like, this is what we dealt with all the time. I would do a simple trick like that and I would break a rod end, and you're like, what the hell? You know, like, that shouldn't have been done. But through that process of jumping and all that, or the months of running before, it weakened to the point that it would break off of something. Mm-hmm. This one happened to be, I had drove it less than 10 minutes before it broke. And so it broke, and it just reminded me of, like, I have the ZRD by CCxRC. Everything is beef on that, like massive axles, you know, super thick chassis, all this stuff. The transmission on it's like so massive, and then you have these links.
Yep, and that's the only weakness.
There's 4 links like this that go and connect everything, and you do something just wrong and breaks.
Yep. That's why I love these.
These links are so massive, like you don't even get an idea. So these trucks, I can sit and run for 3 weeks and never fit. I've never redone my shocks. I just put them back in my garage, and then I get them out and I run them again. I put them back in my garage, and and I don't just run them. I beat the crap out of them every time I run them.
I mean, for me, because I'm a racer, I have the mentality of I run it, I check it over, I make sure some bolts or nuts haven't come unscrewed, then I'll run it again. That's my mentality on it. But like you said, it's not like I'm going out there, I'm running it, I'm breaking a link, I'm coming in, I'm fixing it, I'm fixing the link, I'm going back outside, I'm running it again, then I'm breaking another link, or I'm breaking something else on the truck. That was the constant, never-ending cycle with monster trucks.
Yeah.
Now you don't have that.
Well, I don't even look at it. So I'm not the racer guy, so I'll just say it. I put it in my garage. I charge the batteries. I take it up the next day. I hit all the ramps with it. I jumps and backflips, and I usually do probably over 100 backflips every day with it, and just go nuts.
You told me at one point you've done, no joke, like 3,000 backflips with the truck.
That was before anybody even knew the truck existed.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out how to do the moonwalk, and I could not get it. And then it finally clicked, and now I can do it like probably 4 out of 10 attempts if I have good grip.
Something I still got to learn is that backflip to moonwalk. I got to keep trying on that one.
But it's all about pop, and it's all about having the right grip for your tires to dig into. But yeah, in the year of our Lord.
There you go.
Anno Domini, AD stands for. Yes, Green Frog is right. Anno Domini.
In the year of our Savior.
Yeah.
ALMT.
So this, I honestly am now thinking of so many of the trucks as like, what is after this? And I think this is going to, these axles are going to be showing up on stuff. It changes how Freestyle wants to think about some of their stuff. Yep. However, their Pro C lineup is completely game changer from anything that's out there.
I agree.
So, for the most part, I don't know of anything else out there exactly like it. So that's still its own market thing, and it's a race truck, I think, far superior to this because it hits and sticks, and that's what it does.
It sticks, and honestly, with Pro Cs, people don't really. There are a couple of guys that freestyle them, but they're more of a race engineered style chassis out there that you see guys racing. That I know Aaron Janes in our series has one. He freestyles it, but at the same time, he races it very well as well.
You don't get the pop, so you can't really get the slap wheelies easily.
Exactly. Also,
you really have to nose into
lighter. The truck itself is a lot lighter with the Pro C versus, say, a ZRD or anything like that, where 2 or 3 jumps in, you're going to pop a link with a ZRD. Here, with that truck, you can probably go an entire freestyle if you're lucky and make it all the way through.
For sure. But you can't, it doesn't look as impressive. Like this truck, what's so cool about this truck is it gets so upset. And it's like the real thing where, like, son of a digger, he gets like, whoa, and you're like, what's he doing? It doesn't have that impressive. Because I did a competition with it, and I was trying to do it with my Megalodon SMT10 because I really wanted that to be the truck, and I blew out the diffs in it. That's the only thing that this thing's amazing at is the internals of the drive.
Yeah, the differentials are amazing in this thing.
The transmission differentials, all amazing, but it just I couldn't do it, so I ended up doing it with that. And you can do a backflip if you have the right backflip ramp. Yeah. It's still tough. It's still tough to make it get around. But the rest of it just hits and sticks. You're just jumping and landing, jumping. It's not that impressive.
I mean, if you want to compare them, I'll compare them. If somebody in here is a monster truck guy, Digger 7 and Digger 12. Digger 7, freestyle truck. The truck always bounced everywhere, popped the wheel stands, did everything Dennis wanted it to do. He builds Digger 12. He goes out there, longer wheelbase. It's more designed for racing. What happens? He can't do any of that anymore. He can't He can't do the wheel stands unless it's the slap wheelie, and it's got to be a really lucky hit with that truck to do a slap wheelie.
Well, there's the modern bounty hunter. All he can race and do slap wheelies. He can't really get the truck to do anything else.
Yeah, that's about all it can do. It can't do any of the two-wheel skills stuff. Although Jimmy's tried to get up on the nose a couple of times, but he hasn't really got one fully to like walk forward and walk back yet, because the center of gravity in that truck's got to be completely different to what he's used to.
Yeah, I'm hitting some of the comments here. Earl says Losi always been great on quality, just parts cost hurts. I haven't found it to be too bad on this truck yet.
Yeah.
They did make the axles in the initial part. You had to buy like the full 4 part of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now it looked like they were selling just the front or back casing, or that main casing.
Yeah, and they are doing that. I do have a set of those new ones here somewhere where it's just the front and back casings.
Yep. So they did do that, which is good. Spindles you can buy on their own, and they're not too bad. I just looked them up for somebody. They were like $8, $9 for both front and left spindles, which are the knuckles for people that call them knuckles like me. There's certain things. Shocks are a little bit. The links are $20 for 4 links, and it's not bad. Like if you were to buy aftermarket 4 links from people on like Sam or whatever, that's going
talking a good amount of money
or less.
$80 to $100, probably some more depending on who you're buying them from.
But you can get upper and lower on this for $40 ish, I think.
Yep, and these are legitimately some of the strongest out there, mainly because of the beefy rod ends that they have and the fact that they're a really thick aluminum. Yeah. I don't see myself bending any of these.
No, I haven't bent a shock. Even the shock shafts are pretty beefy on these. I did break an end. I don't know if you can still call them rod ends, but the end of a shock. I did break through one of those, and I actually just busted one of my sway bar rods.
Yeah, I'll pull this whole set of example here. Upper links on a clodbuster. On this particular part of the gear case, every time in the rear of the truck or the right front of the truck, this bar would get a little U shape to it, because you're almost always constantly hitting this. No matter what I did suspension wise, I would almost constantly do it. These are a titanium bar that I special ordered for this truck. What's that?
They still bend the titanium?
No, it won't bend. It will not bend this, but it did on the aluminum links that I ran for a number of years.
Yeah,
I'm very confident that if I was to go out and just use these upper links on that truck, I wouldn't have the bending issue anymore.
Yeah, no, so Earl says, but Losi won't break as much, so it evens out. I missed that part. TLR parts are expensive. Team Losi Racing?
Yes.
Those parts are more expensive than Losi parts, I think.
They are, because that's their racing brand. Losi is Losi.
Yep.
TLR is Team Losi Racing.
Ooh, that's stuck to the table. Trying to glue my tires here.
Don't glue yourself to the table. That would be bad.
I'm so bad at gluing things. I mean, I'm not terrible, but I'm impatient. That's probably a better word.
Oh, I hear you. I was the same way years ago as far as the CA glue stuff would go.
It says 5 to 10 seconds. I don't know what is 5 to 10 seconds, but it's not the cure time for the glue. That is for certain. Because do you use something to cure your glue, like a spray or put it underneath something and have it like effervescent the fumes so that it'll dry or cure quicker?
Nope. I just let it go. Let it dry.
I remember at the racetrack, some people were saying something that they do with theirs to make their tires.
I gotta tell you that just doing that mod makes this so much easier. It's like effortless now.
With the one that Jason Saunders did?
Yep. That's just doing that slight little mod right there makes this so much easier. It's a pain in the butt when the rear end knuckle screws are stripped out and you can't pull them out to be able to do it. So you got to take everything off and kind of just force the differential out like I had to, but I mean, once you get it done, perfect.
And it looks smooth. Well, like I said, I have the Mugen parts on order from A-Main, I think I had to get it from. But I'm going to be doing mine as soon as they come. He's been telling me about it. And I usually, if Jason tells me to do something, I usually try to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they know what they're talking about. Ethan, probably one of the best racers that has come along out of that New York series in a long time, not named DeFalco.
Yeah.
The kids
Mackenzie's there and Paquette, right? Those two guys are pretty fast.
Mackenzie's over there. Pete Paquette's over there.
Chris Cirillo.
Yeah,
he's fast. But Ethan, I mean, he's usually in the hunt. And I met him. They just happened to bunk next to me at one of the World Finals. And
I remember the videos that you put out. You guys doing the little retro racing that you did.
It happened to be the year that I did that, and I guess they tried to park some other place, and people were like, no, this is open. And just like I am on here and wherever, you know, it's not a facade or it's not something that you just talk about, but it's like, hey, you know, I'm like, dude, man, sure, just bunk up here, you know. Yeah. I got this stuff if you need it. I've got like my generators running, you know, like.
Well, I tell you, if I'm coming up to the World Finals, I know where I'm parking because you got a generator.
Yeah. I usually have power.
Easy charge of batteries right there.
Yep. So, and I was actually had a charger out that people used, I think, last year.
Mm-hmm.
I just left it out for people. They had one of those Venom quads that you could just. And
I've got the Duo myself.
Yeah.
I need to get the quad because I've got so many trucks now.
No. Dude, I swear by that new G2 system by Spectrum. I love it. I absolutely love that charger. In fact, I'm only using my G2 batteries right now.
See, I ordered all of the batteries that I had. Everything I got now is Horizon batteries, all smart batteries. I ordered all those batteries, and then like a week later, like, oh, here's G2. I'm like,
they still work on the new charger though.
I know, but still,
it tells you the time left on the charge. You can program it right from it. It's amazing. And I got like Gens 8s. They're sending me some stuff here. I'm not sold on anything. I'll talk about anything that I think is good. I still think Venom batteries are good. You know, certain people want to dog them. I'm like, well, you're overpowering it. That's why it's puffing. Like if you don't have a high enough C rating or you're doing certain things, it's going to cause it to puff. But I've only had to, out of all the Venom batteries I had while I was sponsored with them, I think I've only had to salt bath 3 of them. I mean, I still have them all. Like they're all in my case. I still run them because I'm not forced to run any battery at this point. I can choose whatever I want.
Yeah, you can choose whatever you want. These are the batteries I used to run, the Pro Match RC batteries. I used to run these all the time. Now I've got at least 5 or 6 of these now that are paperweights compared to what I've got now. I really love the Horizon batteries, the Spectrum batteries. They are amazing batteries. They really are. The smart battery system, what I really liked about it the most was the fact that I could see exactly how much battery I had left on the radio.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
I don't like that when it starts beeping, I can't make it stop.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
That's the one thing I don't like. It's like, okay, you've warned me, but I still have life left in the battery. Like that's the warning. It's not hit lipo cutoff yet.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Hit like 3 beeps to warn me that it's getting close, and then when it hits cutoff, I know I'm done.
Yeah. That's the one thing. But I personally have not had many batteries bad. And people are like, oh, you always spent, the Venom are expensive. I'm like, the people that toss a bunch of batteries, I've tossed 3 or 4 batteries ever. I still have all of my batteries.
As far as lipos go, I've had 1 lipo in my entire, and I'm probably jinxing myself by saying this, I know, but I've had 1 lipo be bad the entire time that I've used lipos. Just 1.
Yeah.
And the only reason it got caught was because it wouldn't charge, and I was like, why wouldn't this charge?
I will say this one smart battery that I have right here won't let me do the auto discharge. Like when I hold the button on this, it's like it doesn't have the smart thing isn't reading for some reason. But this is the only one I've had that happen with. The rest of the battery function works.
Yeah.
But I plugged it in today. I'm like, why does it still have charge on it? And then I held this button, and normally when you hold this button in, it'll go to that second menu where you can set that.
Yeah.
And it's not.
And it won't allow you to do it.
Going into that feature.
How long have you had the battery?
Smart charger, it won't go into that, which makes me think that this little gray lead is probably jacked up by me doing something stupid.
That could very well be it.
It's a very good possibility. Because all my other batteries are, I mean, I've got now, I probably have 20 smart batteries, and they all work great. So I don't know what I did to this one. I just noticed it today because I went to run, or yesterday I went to run my bomber, and these fit in my bomber, and that's probably what it is. It's a tight fit. So I don't like the bomber and I don't like the Capra. They try and make it so the battery hides under the hood of it, and you have to cram the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Even with their own batteries that they make, you have to cram it so hard and twist stuff that.
Yeah, and you're hurting your wires when you do that, and
yeah,
it's not a fun setup.
I'd rather strap it in.
I remember when the Capra came out, I was actually I think I was one of the people that caught manual error because somebody had called in about it, and I got to looking at the manual and I was like, wait a minute, I don't even remember what it was now. I want to say it was something to do with the I'm not a crawler guy. What's the end of the gear, or the end of the axle that's got the, I can't think of the name of it. It's got the end of the axle where you bolt the tire on, but it's got almost like a transfer portal. There you go. Thank you.
Portal axles.
It was something to do with the portal axle. We ended up finding a manual error, and it was thanks to me finding it that they had to go in and fix it. I can't remember what it was now. It's going to drive me nuts. You watch. We'll hang up from this live and be like, that's it. I know what it was.
Right.
That's how it always goes.
Bend this or something. Maybe it's not connecting.
Just don't connect the negative and positive together. You'll be all right.
Okay. Just put them in backwards, you said?
Yeah. Put them in backwards.
Not even reading those two middle.
I got one of those too.
It's all cool. Like this smart technology stuff is super cool. So that's what partly made me leave Venom is I got this battery with one of the trucks that Horizon had sent me. I think the Losi DBXLE 2.0. And I started reading about it, and then I got one of these. I bought it, and I started playing with it. Like, this is wicked cool. Like, I want to learn. Like, I don't want to be hindered from trying new technologies like this. Like, I'm a tech guy, and if this is where things are going, I want to try this. And so, when it renewed, I was just like, you know what? I still support you guys. I like your batteries, but I just want to see what else is out there. And like, I still buy. I mean, I've still bought a handful of Venom batteries for a bunch of stuff since leaving the team. But it was also at the point where it's like, I don't need more batteries. Like, I don't need it at this point. And
yeah, you don't need a ton of lipos laying around at all. No. Period.
So I bought a bunch of bat safes eventually because I just was getting sketched out, and it's like, yeah. But now I've just been buying these. Like, I've been replacing stuff.
I finally got one.
Yeah, they're nice.
Honestly, I looked at this thing and how has DC not written any copyright infringement on the front of this thing?
Here, let me blow that up. Show that. Whoops, that's me. There's you. Yeah. I mean, it's straight copyright.
Yeah, I mean, it's a straight copy of the Batman logo. I was like, how DC hasn't been like, yeah, stop that.
I mean, just the bat shape alone is straight up.
Oh yeah, straight up copy of Batman. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, I was looking for a different thing to use because I had been charging in a bag, and I always knew bag is not necessarily the smartest thing to charge in. Sometimes you can have a bag go up.
If you have to cram it in, you're doing something wrong. True for RC in all aspects of life.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. I'm not touching that one.
Oh my gosh, I had the birds and the bees talk with my boy the other day. I had to pull off the road because I was laughing so hard. It just came up, like it just happened, and it had to happen in that moment because they had so many questions while I was driving, and we were like 10 minutes from home. Luckily, country roads. I literally just pulled off into a farm field and laughed because I was crying so hard I couldn't see anymore.
I can only imagine how that had to go.
It was it's one of the funniest things ever. But basically because of their reactions and their questions, which I'm not going to talk about here. But man, I was dying. They were dying too. It was actually a really good moment and a good teaching thing. But man,
bonding.
It was so funny. I'm trying to read here. Earl, how many batteries does he have? Save the balance ports and cut the wire off the old batteries before you toss them. I don't reuse any balance ports. Who wants to try and rewire those?
Yeah, exactly. I don't do that either.
I just tossed 12 batteries today, he said. Holy crap.
Dang.
A lot of batteries.
Did you saltwater bath those before you got rid of them? Or were they all NiCad batteries? That's my question.
I use a lot of my batteries, and if I don't, I still charge them and then have to discharge them. Thank you, Jason Saunders, for giving me one of those awesome rapid dischargers that doesn't destroy your battery charger.
Mm-hmm. I need to get one of those. I've got that's part of the reason I got the smart batteries now is because you got the automatic discharge thing. You can just set right in your smart checker and be done.
That's exactly why I got them. Because of YouTube, I'm charging batteries all the time, and I don't get to them. On a race day, I'll probably charge 20 batteries.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I just buy enough batteries for the trucks that I have. So I've got.
You don't change them out? I put fresh ones in after qualifying.
Nope. I run qualifying. I run the race. Then I run them on the race. I even run them in freestyle.
Yeah.
I run the same battery pack all day long off one truck.
We must not get through the brackets as far as I do then.
Okay, then.
I'm just kidding.
You want to go there? We'll take it to the dungeon.
I'm kidding. I don't get very far anyway. I just overcharge stuff. Usually because I'm dicking around before and like I get bored, like because racing it's a slow day in some ways, right? But we're outside, and so I just throw my stuff down. And I bring my own little bumps and stuff, and I'm just running trucks. So
yeah.
In fact,
I've needed to do that for a while, just to have a truck there that's not entered in the competition that I can beat on, just to have a little fun with.
Yeah.
Other than the competition trucks, because if I'm putting a competition truck down, I'm paranoid I'm going to end up breaking it before the next round because I'm messing around with it in the pits.
Yeah, well, so this truck right here, in fact, I lipo cut off this truck on the last straightaway in qualifying because while I was waiting to qualify this truck, I was running it. I brought my backflip ramps, and I was just doing backflip to moonwalks. Matthew Hall posted one of them on.
Yeah, I saw the video. I was going to say, was Matt videoing that right there?
Yep. So, and I was all day, and I was doing wheelies and all kinds of stupid stuff with it. I literally, I hit that last straightaway, and I'm like, whoops. And it went over the jump, and I'm like, what happened? And I hit it, and I'm like, it just stopped. I'm like, and we lipo cut off. Like, it's done. Cool.
Yeah, I've not had any batteries go bad like that, though, in like a middle of a pass. Ding, 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 round one fight. Yeah. Yeah. That'll be it. We're gonna get to the dungeon. We'll do what you and Jason Saunders and Ethan did here a little while back. Set up our own little retro course, and we'll see which regulator's better.
Dude, I have one I have to build still.
Oh, you got another regulator?
I have one,
mm-hmm.
But I bought one from Bart Malloyne.
Oh, you were the one that got that.
I got a good deal on it.
Yeah, I know you did because I was trying to get the same deal on it.
Yeah, I got a really good deal on it.
That was posted,
and
I wanted that.
And he sent with me the rear lockout by J Concepts for it. I bought because I bought it. Well, I started with buying his yellow ZRP lockout for the rear, and then he's like, "I've got this." I'm like, ooh. So then he sent. So I ended up buying that and his chassis, and then he sent me the other one as well. So I have a whole setup to build.
Yeah, Bart takes care of me every time I need something. I generally check with him.
Yeah.
That digger body that I have, that digger 2 body. Believe it or not, his local hobby shop bought that and had that brand new in 1989, and it never sold. They had it on their shelf for the same price.
Which one?
It's the original Parma Gravedigger body that's on my digger 2.
Yeah.
It literally sat in their hobby shop in the packaging that long.
Wow.
And I got it for the price that they sold it for, which was like $35. I looked today on eBay for one of those bodies because I would like to have a clear one just in case something were to ever happen to that body. I've got spare decals. I can get another body painted up if I need to, right?
Illegal decals.
Yeah, those decals. But anyway,
just check it. Make sure I knew which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I was looking through eBay and I found one of those bodies, $200.
Oof.
I got it for like $35.
Shoot. Rip Wrap, I just posted the fast discharge. It's a CCxRC BD250 discharger. 250 watt, 35 amp. They can suck the batteries down. They start glowing blue. They're crazy.
Battery kryptonite.
Basically, right? Yeah. That's awesome about that body.
Yeah.
So you have another one still?
I posted that last year on Solid Axle Monster Main. I was like, anybody got a lead on one of these bodies? Just to see if it was out there. First person to message me with Bart. And he goes, I know my local hobby shop has one. I'll go tomorrow and buy it.
Wow. Yeah, he really hooked me up with that one. And then I got axles for it because I didn't have axles. So now I've got this chassis. I'm like, I don't want to take apart anything. It's like, because all I really need is axles. So I've got like a kit of like spare parts for the Claude because they just break. So you have to have parts.
I've got plenty of those parts bins as well.
Yeah. So, but I was able to get from Black Market RC, which is what's his name?
Jacob Smallwood.
Jacob Smallwood. He sold me some, so I got axles from him to finish it out. I haven't finished it yet though.
Yeah, Jake's an excellent guy. I love dealing with him.
I like him. I have his BRD. No. Yeah, BRD that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the racehorse, but then he did the BRD one. So
I did the racehorse. He did the BRD. He also did my Digger 7.
He did.
He did. There's a racer in our series by the name of Danny Mass that has a Tropical Thunder that he did.
Okay.
That's
his new one that he's working on right now, that retro leaf sprung.
Yes, I've seen that as well. He sent me photos.
Really good.
I want that. I sent him a message a while back to start on a design for Bigfoot 10 for me because I've got an S&T 10 kit just sitting over here that hasn't been built. I bought it for my dad last year for Father's Day, and when I handed it to him, I said, "Hey, you want me to build it or do you want to build it?" He goes, "I'll build it," and it sat there for like a year. And he says, "You want this back?" It's like, "Yes, I'll take it."
This is great. Bad Safe's probably a Chinese product. They give 0 foxes.
Raleigh has a point. I mean, we can look. I wonder if it's got. Let's see. No,
Mine
nothing
is
on
the
the back.
silver can. I couldn't get the white. I really wanted the one with the Batman logo on it, but I couldn't get it.
I love it. As soon as I saw, I was literally looking through like different cases and stuff that you could get. As soon as I saw Bat Safe with the Batman logo on it, I was like, sold.
Yeah,
I'm a giant Batman fan.
Oni, these are for discharging, not for killing. You can set the amount of like what voltage you want to get it to, or how much you want to discharge, and then you can get it right into that like safe zone for storage mode. What I do is I honestly keep a LiPo checker plugged into it, and I just watch the numbers on it. So as it's discharging, I just set the numbers high, and as it gets to about 3.8, I stop it.
Yep.
So that's what I do. I just plug this into the balance lead, and the charger is plugged into the leads from the battery. And then as it discharges, I just watch this and then turn it off when it's about discharge mode. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but I don't know the better way.
I don't know the better way for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I know my way.
Jason told me a whole bunch of things about it, and I'm like, I push this again to make it discharge. Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool.
There you go.
Boom. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm excited. I'm glad that racing is starting again. And dude, I'm gonna work my butt off to try and get to a Trigger King race this year.
Good. I would love to have you out there.
If not the Bigfoot one, that's the one I really want to go to.
Yeah, I think they. I don't know.
Technically,
they rescheduled that one for after the summer.
Is that one done by J Concepts? So it's not technically Trigger King.
No, that's Trigger King.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, the Bigfoot open house is Trigger King. We put that on. J Concepts is there. They come in, but we put that one on. Honestly, truthfully, if you want to come out to a race, come out to John's place. It's a lot more fun. The tracks are a lot better in the dirt.
That new track you guys are running at. They brought the Raminators there, right?
What's that?
They ran the Raminators there one time, right?
Yeah, they did at John's place.
Yeah, that's a cool grass track. Grass around it, but nice field.
Yeah, that place it's excellent for RC monster truck racing. The open house is not so much, and I'm not throwing open house under the bus. I love racing open house. But where they put us at back there is that it's not a graded area. The lanes aren't necessarily the lanes are even, but they're not even. We'll put it that way because there's a lot of bumps on one side. There's a lot of bumps on the other side. You don't know what you're going to hit going down a straightaway. I mean,
that's racing, man.
It's racing, but it's going to hurt your bodies as well because it's on gravel.
I thought it was on cement one year.
Yeah, it was on gravel. I can send you the video. I'll send you a video of what it looked like the last time we raced out there. But I know where we will be. Plus, we're right by the ride truck that goes, so sometimes you can't even hear yourself think.
Yeah,
that thing going back and forth all the time, and that line of people over there. I prefer the club racing, just normal club racing over doing the.
You guys do like a world finals, or a finals big race that is open to everybody coming in, or no?
We did one called King of the Monster Trucks, and it just didn't have the attendance really to push it any farther. Freestyle RC came down. Matt Stoltz came in. Buddy Morris Atkins came in. RC Hub was there. They came in, which I think they're based in the area, but they still came in. And J Concepts. It was really the only outside club members that came.
Yeah.
But everybody that did come, they got a free body. They got the 05 Ford body that they were getting ready to release.
Really?
Yeah. So we got a free body out of the deal.
Holy crap.
But it was still a fun event, don't get me wrong. We just didn't quite have the attendance that we thought we were going to have out of it.
You didn't get the guys from Ohio and all that?
Don't believe so, no.
Oh. Maybe they run with you normally and I don't know what. But yeah, so I want to get out to one. I've kind of talked with them a little bit about it and trying to figure it out. I want to get back up to the Connecticut race again up at RC Madness. It was just a ton of fun.
Yeah, I want to go to that one too, but I want to go and it's the RC, I can't even think of the name now. RCMTC World Finals.
Yeah.
I want to go when it's that. That was the experience that I had signed myself up for, and whenever it wasn't going to run, then I decided to make a vacation.
The night before, because we were in Delaware by the time it was not going to run.
I was in middle of Ohio about that time.
Yeah.
I made it 6 hours into the trip, and I hadn't gotten a hotel. I was pulled over. I literally was just pulled over to get a little break, and then Dan was messaging me and telling me what was going on, and I was like, oh man, because I still had probably another 4 or 5 hours worth of driving left in me at that point. But it is what it is. It happened. And honestly, it kind of turned into a really nice vacation that I needed. So
yeah, it was awesome for you.
Plus I got to see Gravedigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to make my way down there tomorrow. I'm hoping they got some trucks out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be that close. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I wish it was just right out the door for me. I love that area. I always love that area. And to actually be able to go there was phenomenal. I also love the Charlotte area. I'm a NASCAR geek. I love going around that area.
Dude, the Bristol dirt race, man.
Yes. It was good.
I wish I'd have gone.
There was a part of me that wanted to go, but we also had the Trigger King race scheduled that weekend, and to me, RC trumped going to Bristol. And probably it was a good decision because it ended up getting rained out. It ran on Monday anyway. Excuse me.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah.
But I ended up getting to see it all. It was still really cool to watch. Don't get me wrong. The middle, I think it was towards the middle of the last stage. The track started to get away from them just a little
Falling
bit.
apart, man.
Yeah.
It's so bumpy coming in and out of the corner.
That's why you don't do 250 lap dirt races. You do 150 lap dirt.
No, I say do it. Let it get sloppy, man. It was so. I like watching the cars and the way the guys have to drive it.
Yeah, but
everything.
What ends up happening though is it turns into number one, a one groove racetrack, like it did, and number two, one guy starts to scoot away from everybody. And at the end, it looked like there for a while, like the first 10 or 15 laps of that last restart, Hamlin had a car that could run the top and chase down Logano. But after those 10 or 15 laps, when that moisture was gone, he could not go anywhere. He was stuck there, and Joey could just scoot around the bottom, and he was the best car on the bottom. He ran away with everybody.
Yep. I'm a Logano fan.
I'm a Logano fan too. I like the way that he drives, and I can't stand some of the people that sit there and want to complain about Joey Logano winning. What did he do wrong? They're still upset about the whole deal with Kenseth in Kansas a few years ago where he dumped Kenseth. Matt cut him off.
Yeah.
Watch.
I worked with him and his work crew at Joplin after the tornadoes hit.
Yeah.
They did a Home Depot rebuild when he was with Home Depot still.
Yeah.
His whole race crew came in and they rebuilt his house and this whole backyard thing for this house when I was doing nonprofit work. Super cool guy. Interviewed him.
There's a Monster Jam photographer that got flown in to the Charlotte show that we did the last year. I keep thinking this is 2020 for some reason, but I was doing the Charlotte show. One of the photographers got flown in, and he's a former NASCAR photographer. And he's like, after the show is over with, he says, "Hey, guess who I ran into?" And he shows me a photo. It's Joey Logano. I was like, "And you didn't come and get me? You know I like Joey. I would have taken a picture with him and sent it to my dad and made my dad jealous."
Now he was a class act. His whole crew was great.
Yeah,
yeah, they were good people. I mean, anything where you have competition involved, people are going to get a little bit spicy. Right?
And Joey, it got said earlier this week. A lot of people remind like Joey reminds them of Dale Earnhardt, and I don't like that comparison. I'm an Earnhardt fan. Always been an Earnhardt fan. How long will it take to clean up Bristol? I'm imagining a lot of moist towelettes will be used to get that clean. Actually, I listened to Dale Jr.'s Download, his podcast that he does. And they said that they, like the next day, I think it was Marcus Smith was on the show, and he's the guy that basically promoted the event. And he said that next day they pretty much had like the grandstands cleaned up, but they've still got more dirt racing to go. They got the World of Outlaws coming there next. Yeah.
Well, then they come in, they scrape it all up. They do like street sweepers. I mean,
yeah,
they come in and they clean it up well. I mean, it's going to be some work, but they're getting their money's worth out of it.
Oh yeah, they definitely
not fully because of stinking COVID, but
I mean, did you hear or see anything of like the previous week's events before the NASCAR race when they had all the late models and the street stocks and stuff out there racing?
yeah, because
604 great late
Freestyle
models.
went down to it.
What's that?
What the guy from CCxRC went down for it.
Travis Paul. Yeah, he was there.
Yep.
But the 604 crate late model race there was like watching Talladega because they were wide open the entire way around that place. It was hard for those guys to try and find a way around people because they couldn't get under them. They had to basically use the draft to try to get under people.
Yeah,
it was cool to watch at Bristol because you wouldn't think the draft would come into play at Bristol, but they did for those cars.
All right, man. I'm gonna get ready here for bed. I think soon. So it's just
I'm gonna have to do the same thing here. I'm glad I got this truck done, and before we started, I got another truck done. So, what was that?
They were just commenting. I just got a message. People commenting. I took my Jeep across the stumps in my front yard.
Mm-hmm.
Bottomed it out on the steps.
Oof.
Which was quite a noise inside.
I bet it was.
But
it's about like my trucks when I bottom out and hit a rock.
I'm just really itching for that place to open up, the mud park by us.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get my Jeep out there. I've been looking at those. We cut down 4 trees in the front yard, and 2 of them were stacked. One, and then it stepped up to the next one. I'm like, man, that would be super fun to go over with the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
So today I'm like, yeah, let's do it, guys. So kids all jumped in the car and we went and just crawled over it.
Get her done.
Yeah.
Do it. Have fun with it.
When it dropped onto that drop down steps we have, he's like, ooh.
Better check the oil pan.
Yeah, well, so I last time I went crawling, I dented one of the cross members.
Oh, geez.
Wrenched it all up. But it's now got a heavy duty one in there for crawling. So I should be good on the underside there.
There you
go. Anyway, thanks for jumping in here, Josh.
Hey, no problem.
Real things on that I wanted to install. Hopefully you got some stuff done with your trucks.
Yeah, I got all the LMTs done. I guess tomorrow I'll finally dig into the dreaded Clodbuster destroyed behind me.
That's a big mess, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a big mess. But man, I think it's a lot of fun. I always enjoy doing this stuff with you. Anytime you want me, just let me know.
Yeah. All right, man. Cool. See you, Josh. See everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in.